Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Gao Wu, my skills have God-level entries. Chapter 31. Give me more fusion. Ding. Fusion completed. Golden entry. Advanced lightning talent. Su Yang couldn't help but his eyes lit up. Finally something good has appeared. Because when Su Yang merged the entries, there were obviously several life-related entries. This can be considered a complete bet. It's a pity that I don't have mall points, otherwise I might be able to fuse the red divine items entries. Su Yang had no choice but to interrupt the fusion of entries. Then he also started planning to integrate thunder talents. Talent entry. Advanced Thunder System. Level. Gold. Introduction. It allows the user to possess Thunder System talents, practice Thunder System skills and martial arts, and have 50 times the training effect. Su Yang nodded with satisfaction. This moment, Su Yang also has a lot more trump cards. Use. Ding. The addition of talent entries is completed. Advanced Lightning Talent. Su Yang turned to look at the Swordsmanship talent and the Swordsmanship talent. Then I directly chose to add it. Add to. Ding. Adding talent entries is completed. Junior Swordsmanship talent, Junior Swordsmanship talent. Su Yang was there in an instant. The whole body felt in a hollow state. Boom. There was a thunderous sound in Su Yang's body, and it suddenly exploded inside Su Yang's body. Buzz. Buzz. There were also two sharp weapons that spread out instantly. It echoed directly around Su Yang. Su Yang also felt at this moment that this time, he seemed to be playing Dafa a little bit. Click. A flash of thunder suddenly appeared in the sky, taking care of the entire sky. Wang Yayuan in the girls' dormitory also noticed. Master, what is going on? It seems that someone has awakened the talent of Thunder System. It's strange, why is someone awakening now? Wang Yayuan suddenly thought of something. Master, is it possible that this talent was hidden and then exposed? It's possible, but it's better to be careful. Wang Yayuan looked in the direction of the movement. It seemed to be coming from the direction of the boys' dormitory. Another figure came to mind. Could it be him? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Wang Yayuan shook her head and slowly left Su Yang's figure behind. After all, Su Yang has successfully entered cultivation. This is if Su Yang can awaken his cultivation talent for the second time. So Su Yang's strength, it will surely reach a terrifying peak. But secondary talent is not as simple as imagined. Once you don't stick to it, there will probably be hidden dangers. In addition, Su Yang has already entered the ranks of warriors, and it is even more difficult to awaken for the second time. Such big things happen to freshmen. Lu Qingyu also noticed. Not just Lu Qingyu. The same goes for the higher-ups within the academy. Second awakening talent. It seems that there is another genius among our human race. Ha ha ha. Those little fools from the demon tribe don't even think about completely exterminating us humans. Old man, are you awake too? Looking at this movement, it seems to be an advanced lightning talent. Thunder element. The lightning talent is among the training talents of all warriors. The lethality is the most powerful one, in addition to the rare talent of time, or the talent of space. But it's a pity, time talent and space talent have not been discovered in the human world. As long as this kid can survive, the future of mankind will be a little brighter. Perhaps when we get old and retire, we may enjoy happiness. Ha ha ha, that's true. After all, the future belongs to those young men. Thunder talent, second awakening. Lu Qingyu heard the information and learned the facts. He also gave instructions to the instructors of each class. Try your best to find that talented new student of the lightning system. Especially in the boys' dormitory. The search scope has also dropped significantly. As for Lu Qingyu, she couldn't help but think of the brat Su Yang. It can't be this kid, right? Probably not. Lu Qingyu also shook her head and did not think that Su Yang was the person who had awakened for the second time. There may be something good to watch next. Su Yang's strength has improved by leaps and bounds, but it still won't work if he doesn't realize the spiritual energy after awakening for the second time. Forget it, watch the show, watch the show. Lu Qingyu didn't care about anything else, just looking through other news. As for the freshmen, things have already exploded. Wow wow wow, what happened? Why is there thunder? Holy crap, this movement seems to be above us. Well, I heard that someone seems to have awakened his talent for the second time. What the hell? How is this possible? No way, isn't it rare to have a second awakening talent? I actually encountered it. Not necessarily. At least we can encounter the rumored second awakening, right? Su Yong didn't know that because of his advanced talent. As a result, many people paid attention to the freshman. The movement of advanced talents. Quite big. If it is a junior talent, there will be no movement at all. However, at this moment, Su Yong only felt that her whole body was in excruciating pain, like it was being torn apart. Even in Su Yang's opinion, this feeling is even more uncomfortable than when I first awakened my fire talent. Time passes slowly. Su Yang's forehead broke out in bursts of cold sweat. At the same time, Su Yong also felt sour and refreshed as never before. Cool, Su Yong shouted softly, shaked his body. Check. Host, Su Yong. Talent, 5 elements, elementary, thunder system, advanced kendo, elementary, sword Dao, elementary. Goldfinger, all things entry system. Cultivation realm, quasi-martial artist, 5 stars. Body forging realm, 1 star for acquired warriors. Practice skills, 5 elements, Kaiyuan technique. Body strengthening technique, 5 yuan dragon elephant body strengthening technique. Bloodline, human bloodline. Foundation building bone, none. Martial arts, 5 elements, 10,000 transformations hand perfect level. Shenfa, none. Weapon, none. Maul points, 100,000. Overall, it's okay. Su Yong also nodded with satisfaction. There are also 3 more talents. Then the strength that will be improved next will also change a lot. Even the direction is as fast as possible. But before establishing the foundation of martial arts, it should be enough to improve the strength. Su Yong plans to get stuck at a certain point in time. As for why the time is stuck, but Su Yong is making the decision. Also waiting for the new red divine item to appear. As long as the divine product appears. So, Su Yong also began to plan to choose the path of building a foundation in martial arts in the future. Call. Su Yong breathed a sigh of relief, stood up and moved his body. Next, it's time to pick some of your own hidden trump card martial arts and techniques. What is a hidden trump card? Su Yong also said. The kind of surprise is the hidden trump card. The way of the sword, and the lightning talent. Su Yong murmured to himself, recalling in his mind whether to exchange some sword skills and sword skills. There are also sword techniques and sword skills. As for the lightning talent, the last time Su Yong was searching. Likewise, I haven't found any techniques or martial arts with the thunder system. Isn't there any? Or is my library level not high enough? Dee. Su Yong also felt a buzz from her cell phone. I found it was in the class group. Lu Qingyu also told the truth of what happened just now. The same thing is said. If anyone awakens for the second time, you must tell Lu Qingyu. In this way, the academy will distribute matching exercises. Even explained it. Because the talent of thunder system is too rare, the study hall only has a broken book of exercises. But the thunder system technique, it's really too rare, even with martial arts. A broken technique. Su Yong was silent for a moment and opened his entry backpack. Found an auxiliary entry. Automatic repair. This entry is perfect. And it can be reused. It's just a pity. Only Su Yong can reuse it. Once it is used by others, it needs to be exchanged for sharing stones or shared entries. For now, it's better not to expose your lightning talent. Su Yong thought that she had too many secrets. It's better to choose to give up. However, there are thunder-based exercises and martial arts. Su Yong thought he would go take a look when he had time and see if he could redeem it first. Next, let's choose to find a book of exercises and martial arts suitable for swordsmanship. After speaking, Su Yong also opened the library. Start constantly choosing martial arts and techniques that suit you. Su Yong was selecting exercises and martial arts. I also found that these were too ordinary. Think back to the last time. Su Yong also directly opened a mutation entry. Entries that can change exercises or martial arts. It's a pity that after more than 1,000 draws, no orange mutation entry was drawn, sorry. Su Yong can only blame the system for its deceptive behavior. But Su Yong also kept an eye on it in the future. Although the exclusive lottery does not have a guaranteed mechanism. But the exclusive items given to Su Yong in the lottery are all designated entries. At the very least, Su Yang also has a solid foundation. Random draws are a bit tricky. Are they all ordinary level exercises? After watching it, Su Yang understood one thing. That is the time of rebirth. Only those who are learning ordinary level exercises and martial arts. I want to choose more advanced exercises. Then you have to become a more advanced student. Forget it, it has nothing to do with me. Su Yang waved his hand. Ordinary level is just ordinary level. When thinking of this, Su Yang also started to choose exercises and martial arts. It's just that while Su Yang is choosing martial arts, many people were watching from the background. Lu Qingyu also looked at the redemption records in the library, wanting to see who would redeem the skills in the first place. Because just now, in the library, incomplete thunder techniques and martial arts are also displayed. Because in the new life, all the new student tutors have not received the second awakening students with lightning talent. Then I thought about it. Let the elders who study martial arts lay out this technique first. Let us wait until we find the new student with the second awakening talent. After all, if this is not the case, how will we find the new student? Lu Qingyu couldn't help clenching her pink fists. I cursed secretly in my heart. What is this newly awakened person afraid of? He won't eat you. Dee. Lu Qingyu looked at the information displayed in the background. He was also surprised. Su Yang, why are you exchanging sword skills and sword skills? Are you exchanging martial arts as well? You brat, you really make trouble for me every day. Lu Qingyu was angry at first, but when she saw Su Yang's move, she immediately wanted to run over and beat Su Yang up. Forget it, I'll write it down for you first. I'll teach you a lesson later. Lu Qingyu was also waiting slowly. The thunder system skills are displayed. Su Yang also noticed that the thunder technique was placed in the most conspicuous position. But for Su Yang, although the thunder system skills are very valuable, but it's better to hide it and keep a low profile. Wait a few days before talking. Thunder system technique. Su Yang definitely wants to get it too. When thinking of this, Su Yang also exchanged 2 or 3 kendo exercises and kendo martial arts. The same is true for swordsmanship and martial arts skills. Su Yang plans to choose something suitable for herself. I simply exchanged a few more. After waiting for a long time, there was a knock on the bedroom door. Hey, it's you, Junior. The visitor seemed to know Su Yang and couldn't help but laugh. Hello, Senior. Hey, it's normal for Junior to not recognize me, but Junior has helped me win a lot of college points. Su Yang also smiled and shook his head and said, this is not my fault. The seniors believe in me. I can't let the seniors down, right? Ha, my junior is really good at saying, I'll give this to you. Su Yang's words satisfied the other party. Later, Su Yang also sent away this senior and began to exchange it for swordsmanship skills and martial arts. Let's see. Su Yang selected 3 books on kendo techniques. It turned out that only one of the 3 kendo techniques was suitable for me. Ultimate Shadow Sword Technique. Another one is Sword Skills. The Storm Sword. Another sword technique was also selected by Su Yang. Ba Tian Sword Technique. Shadow Whirlwind / Study. Su Yang also directly studied the 2 martial arts books and the 2 exercises. As for other kendo techniques, there are also martial arts. Su Yang didn't intend to watch either. Then he asked the senior to send it back for further discussion. Su Yang was silent for a moment. Opened the entry's backpack. Fortunately, the entry backpack can be considered infinitely large. Su Yang found several orange entries again. I plan to start preparing for cheating again. Let the sword art. Let us talk about the improvement in sword skill training speed. The last 5 elements talent. It has already increased Su Yang's speed so quickly. Oh, the cheating life is really interesting. Su Yang couldn't help but become excited. Then, the entries were inlaid on the 4 entries again. Ding. Found the ordinary level, 5-star skills, and the extreme shadow sword technique. Whether to add a cultivation amplification entry orange. Add to. Ding. Added. Su Yang also heard the next few entries being added. He turned to smile slightly. Start giving it a try. I just plan on starting to continue practicing. Su Yang sat cross-legged. Start practicing kendo skills. Because Su Yang has a talent for swordsmanship. In addition, Su Yang has already entered the ranks of quasi-warriors. Naturally, one can practice easily. Kung Fu entry. Cultivation amplification. Level. Orange. Introduction. Increase the cultivation speed of the cultivation method by 20 times. Buzz. Su Yang's whole body exudes a sharp aura from time to time. The extreme shadow sword technique also began to improve continuously. The moment the technique was running, Su Yang was also by his side. Mixed with some dazzling sword intent. But it's only very weak. Su Yang's cultivation speed also improved by leaps and bounds. 30 times the cultivation speed. This really made Su Yang feel as fast as a rocket. Time passes quickly. Su Yang also opened his eyes again. Finally, the levels of the Jing sword art and the 5 elements Kaiyuan art have finally reached the same level. Su Yang also understood something now. That's what happens next. The 5 elements Kaiyuan Ju. Extreme shadow sword technique. There are also the tyrant sword techniques. All 3 of these need to be practiced. There are also thunder type skills that I haven't practiced yet. Does this require 4 times more effort than others? Su Yang shook his head helplessly. But still very satisfied. At least this will make Su Yang's life more fulfilling. Next, Su Yang began to try to practice sword techniques one by one. This can also be regarded as Su Yang's hidden trump card. In less than a day, Su Yang's 3 skills are at the same level. Su Yang slowly exhaled, relaxed her body, and finally continued to exercise. 5 Yuan Dragon Elephant Bodybuilding Method. Su Yang also needs exercise. I feel like I'm very busy every day. Think of this. System, is there any entry that can automatically cultivate? Ding. Some. Is there really one? Su Yang was surprised while pouring the monster's blood. When I think of this, Su Yang couldn't help but sigh. He didn't know when he would be able to obtain the entry that can automatically practice. Whatever, it's not too late to practice now. Entries for automatic cultivation. Although Su Yang was very interested, it was only a little bit. Want to pull out. Su Yang understands that it may take a long time to wait. System. Use the talent improvement card for me. Improve the 5 elements talent. Ding. Using the talent improvement card, the primary 5 element talent can be upgraded to the intermediate 5 element talent. Buzz. Su Yang also felt that he was more proficient in understanding the 5 elements of spiritual energy. Then he also started the 5 elements Kaiyuan Ju and the 5 elements Dragon Elephant Bodybuilding Method. They also began to practice one after another. Talent entry. Intermediate 5 elements talent. Level. Orange. Introduction. It allows the user to possess the 5 elements talent. Likewise, practicing the 5 elements martial arts and skills will increase 30 times. For a while, the entire 5 elements spiritual energy was like a tide, rushing into Su Yang's body crazily. At the top of Su Yang's head, a spiritual energy vortex has been formed. The blood of monsters with the energy of the 5 elements is also in the barrel. And the blood of dragon and elephant. It also transformed into spiritual snakes again, wandering around Su Yang. Finally, together with the 5 elements of spiritual energy, they rushed to Su Yang's body together. Su Yang's physical strength, as well as one's own cultivation. It is also improving rapidly. To this, Su Yang also practiced in silence. Holy shit, did Su Yang come back so early and start practicing again? The roommate who came back also found the bathroom door closed. But why does Su Yang practice there every night? Isn't this a traditional craftsman? Hey. Several people also smiled secretly. Okay, don't say that, be careful of getting beaten. Don't worry, I think Su Yang can still make jokes. But it's better not to joke around. Okay, stop talking. Su Yang improves his strength so quickly. If we don't realize the spiritual energy quickly and become a quasi-warrior, we will be in the same dormitory as Su Yang. That's right, those freshmen, Guba, are envious of us being able to share a dormitory with Su Yang. But who knows whether we are under great pressure. A monster like Su Yang was in the same dormitory. The pressure on them is huge. People ask it every day. What is the extent of Su Yang's strength? And why haven't you guys realized the spiritual energy yet? When I think of this, it was angry and hateful. Enlighten it. The same few people also chose to sense the spiritual energy around them and began to try to enter the ranks of quasi-warriors. Hey, it's strange. Why do I feel today? We seem to be able to sense spiritual energy. Yes, the spiritual energy around me seems to be very strong. Really, I thought it was an illusion. Tell me, is it? Several people looked at the closed bathroom door. Especially when I felt the aura around me, it seemed like it was going crazy, rushing towards the bathroom door. Holy crap, it really is. Hurry, hurry, Su-young is helping us. Hurry, we must also feel the spiritual energy and become quasi-warriors. Su-young didn't know either. Time to practice. Unexpectedly, he helped several other people in the dormitory, and also accelerated their spiritual energy perception in advance, thus becoming a quasi-martial artist. Time passes slowly. In a blink of an eye. Su-young also opened her eyes again and opened the bathroom door. It stinks so much. Su-young couldn't help but look at the other freshmen practicing in the dormitory. Hey, did you realize success so quickly? Su-young's words are neither big nor small. Several people also opened their eyes and woke up. Su-young, thank you very much. Thank me. Under Su-young's confused eyes, several people also started to explain. Finally understand everything. Ha ha ha. Congratulations then. Su-young also laughed, but still tried to persuade a few people. But don't be sloppy, consolidate it well. Also, you guys stink so much, go and wash yourself off. Su-young also understands. It seems like he occupies the bathroom. As a result, no one disturbed Su-young's practice. I've been suffering from that bad smell. Forget it, just be more careful next time. Su-young laughed and shook his head. Then he also headed to a place where he could practice martial arts. Just acquired martial arts. Su-young hasn't trained yet either. Otherwise, when the battle comes and the trump card is exposed, wouldn't it be a joke if you don't have enough experience? Oh, what a pity. Think of this. Su-young shook his head helplessly. The best way to improve is to experience actual combat. But now, Su-young is just a new student. Still has the strength of a quasi-warrior. Unable to reach the acquired warrior level. Otherwise, Su-young would also go looking for some monsters to fight. Yo, Junior is here. Well, Senior, I'm here to practice my martial arts skills. Su-young handed the student to the other party and then said. This time, I may have to stay a little longer. Please bear with me, Senior. It's okay, no problem. The latter also waved his hand. It seems very casual. After all, Su-young's name has also spread among some old students. In addition, Su-young also has a very polite temperament and a handsome appearance. At least it looks comfortable. Unless someone is really disgusted with Su-young, who would have nothing to do to make trouble with Su-young. He is really a rather evil junior. Su-young's name spread among the freshmen. The strength of a quasi-warrior. He tore an acquired warrior-level monster into pieces with his bare hands. Physical strength. It simply crushed a lot of old students. Su-young also slowly took out a weapon. A sharp sword. But this is just a mortal-level weapon. Blizzard Shadow Sword. Su-young also stepped forward with one step, and the long sword in his hand thrust straight out, the sword light flickering. As the plundering figure also appeared next to Su-young. Clang. The long sword also stabbed hard at the metal stake in front of him. Same. Su-young did not use spiritual energy this time. He only relies on his physical strength to perform sword skills. For what? Naturally, because Su-young also discovered it. When performing martial arts without using spiritual energy, it can also cause certain damage to the body. This can also improve your physical strength. Since then, Su-young also seemed to have opened a certain door. Crazy torment yourself. He is also constantly strengthening his physical strength. Clang, clang, clang. A figure came out quickly, and the long sword in his hand was like a murder weapon, constantly stabbing the metal stakes in front of him. But soon, the gashes on the metal piles also healed quickly. Wait for the figure to slowly emerge. All he saw was a young man holding a sword who was sweating profusely, standing slowly on the spot. Su-young's physical condition. The warrior has arrived at Hautian warrior. The deeds that can make Su-young sweat, Su-young has obviously been training for a long time. Okay, Su-young nodded. Then he also looked at the long knife in his hand. It's like a slaying sword. Sharp. The next step is to practice your knife skills. When I think of this. Su Yang smiled slightly. Lifting the long sword directly also started to practice quickly, and he had just acquired the sword skills. Chaos Shadow Whirlwind. Knife skills. Su Yang found that it was not as agile and light as sword skills. And when using sword skills, what is felt is thick, steady, and hugely destructive. Sure enough, the knife is really the weapon used by the tyrant. As for the sword, Su Yang also understands, although it is not as destructive as the sword, but it possesses the penetrating power of a sword that can break through everything. Compare between. Su Yang felt that if this knife matched his physical strength. When I think of this, Su Yang couldn't help but smile. But it's better to hide it for now. Su Yang is not someone who likes to pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. In such a dangerous world, a time when monsters reign supreme, Su Yang also planned to hide himself, otherwise he would die without knowing how. Therefore, in the future, no one has seen Su Yang actually take action. Because the grass on the graves of all those I have seen are taller than people. Su Yang's training time is also slowly passing by. Have junior fellow students gone back? Well, thank you, senior. Su Yang waved his hand, then turned and left the place. In Su Yang's view, the training is almost the same. I plan to train to see the actual effect. As for actual combat, naturally, it's over there at the demon-slaying platform. At this moment, Su Yang is also standing on the square. In front of him was an acquired warrior level, 4-star monster, the fiery demon fox. Squeak. The fire demon fox lay tightly on the ground, baring its teeth and showing a fierce look. Su Yang also saw the other party's true face. A fox with a body like a tiger, with fiery red skin. Same. There was a small flame mixed with the tail behind him. There was fear, nervousness, and pity in a pair of copper bell-sized eyes. Seems a bit embarrassed. Snort. Su Yang also smiled and shook his head. For this thing, Su Yang will not show mercy. A fight is a fight. Once the heart is soft, the next person to die will be Su Yang himself. Aha! The fire demon fox also panicked, opening its sharp claws and pounced directly in Su Yang's direction. Roll! Su Yang shouted loudly, and his figure disappeared in a flash. Wandering dragon step is also used directly. There was also no use of spiritual energy. This scene appears. Yang Jian in the stands was stunned for a moment. Because at that moment just now, Su Yang also revealed the perfect level 5 elements Wanhua shows Yulongbu. This. How is this possible? Yang Jian originally thought that Su Yang was just a proficient master of the 5 elements. But reality slapped him in the face. Perfect level 5 elements Wanhua show. Holy shit. This speed. Nah. Did I read that correctly? A perfect level 5 elements Wanhua show, right? Isn't this too perverted? With perfect martial arts skills and such strong physical strength, is this still a 5-star quasi-martial artist? This is not a monster, what is it? Bang! Su Yang used a mountain kick to kick the top of the fire demon fox's head. Plus Su Yang's physical strength. That kick was like a sharp machete, hitting the fire demon fox hard. Roar! The fire demon fox roared in pain. He looked at Su Yang fiercely. I shook my still groggy head, trying to wake up. Then he opened his claws and rushed towards Su Yang. Whispering sound, Su Yang snorted coldly, stretched out his big hand slightly, and then clenched it tightly. Made a bombardment gesture, looking at the fiery demon fox running towards him. At that very close second, just in that second, Su Yang's fist hit the head of the rapidly approaching fire demon fox. Phew! Su Yang's fist was like a sharp weapon, piercing through the fire demon fox. But because of the impact, the figure of the fiery demon fox also pushed Su Yang several meters away. Gudong! When I saw this scene, many people swallowed their saliva. After Yang Jian also saw Su Yang's terrifying strength, he couldn't help but ignite the idea of AA fighting. But Su Yang's strength is too low. The strength of a quasi-warrior. It's still a bit troublesome to deal with Yang Jian, who is almost on the verge of establishing his martial arts foundation. Yang Jian will not fight Su Yang now. But we must wait for Su Yang to break through. Master, maybe, if it takes a year sooner or later, maybe I will really become Su Yang's foil. Yang Jian laughed at himself. But I still hope that Su Yang's strength will improve quickly. In this case, you can challenge Su Yang. Call. Su Yang relaxed her arms and looked tired. In fact, Su Yang is not tired at all. Even looked very excited. Su Yang also turned around and left the demon-slaying platform. After all, Su Yang also came here to check out his 5 elements talents. Because of the 5 elements talent, the power of the 5 elements 10,000 transformation hands has also become a lot stronger. By the way, there is also one more entry for the 5 elements Wanhua hand. Name 5 elements Wanhua hand. Quality level 5. Category 5 elements attributes. Entry martial skills increase orange martial arts experience orange. Proficiency perfect level martial arts entry attribute increase. Level orange introduction can increase the damage of martial arts by 50%. But next, we should improve our own strength. Su Yang also smiled calmly. It was time to improve his martial arts. Otherwise, the cultivation level is too low. The power of martial arts is greatly reduced. Just when Su Yang was going back happily, in Lu Qingyu's office, Lu Qingyu's face was extremely gloomy and she couldn't help but make a phone call. I need an explanation. Miss, this is a decision from above and we cannot change it. Why a week in advance? Don't you know how many warriors were lost in 1 week? Do you know how many people will stare at and ridicule those quasi-warriors who are about to realize their enlightenment after they return? The more Lu Qingyu talked, the angrier she became. She raised her hand and threw the phone against the wall. Snapped. The mobile phone also became torn apart. No, I have to call Grandpa and the others. Lu Qingyu immediately changed her cell phone again and dialed a hidden number. Grandfather, my dear granddaughter, I know everything you said. But if this is the case, a lot of quasi-warriors will be lost among the new students. Lu Qingyu couldn't help but blame him, and wanted to fight for the freshmen. After all, a warrior's time is precious. Girl, it's not that I don't want to do this. It's the people above who can't wait any longer. Buddha A. Lu Qingyu was still thinking of retorting, but the words she heard the next second were like a bolt from the blue. Girl, the first line of defense has been broken. What? Lu Qingyu couldn't help but look ashen and her tone trembled. Then father and the others. Why don't I let you go? That's the reason. I've already lost them, and I don't want to lose you again, girl. Lu Qingyu is at this moment. I finally understand why I stopped myself from going to the front line. Hearing such bad news, Lu Qingyu couldn't help but panic. From this moment on, Lu Qingyu didn't know what to say. I don't even know how to express my current emotions. He just held back his tears and asked with a choked voice, when did it happen? 3 years ago. Lu Qingyu suddenly remembered the time 3 years ago. She was like that back then, noisy and fussy. I have always thought about going to the front line to help. As a result, he was blocked by his grandfather. Girl, don't blame grandpa. Does Lu Qingyu hate it? This is completely impossible. Recalling Lu Qingyu's character back then, she heard the news. They will also seize the time to go to the first line of defense. Grandpa, I don't blame you. Lu Qingyu gently wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes, and then continued speaking with a firm tone. But Grandpa, don't forget, I am also a member of the human race, and also a member of the Lu family. I am the pride of my father, and I am also the pride of my mother. I know Grandpa is worried about me. But I hope Grandpa won't forget one thing. That was our bet 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Lu Qingyu's grandfather ran around to prevent Lu Qingyu from running around. At that time, I also planned to find something for Lu Qingyu to do. Lu Qingyu was simply arranged to be a tutor for new students in the college. Lu Qingyu was reluctant at first. They even made the freshmen miserable. But in the end, Lu Qingyu felt so tortured, and also felt a little bored. It simply started to fall apart. Then Grandpa Lu Qingyu made a bet with Lu Qingyu. If Lu Qingyu can cultivate a good seedling, get something done, Lu Qingyu can go wherever she wants. Or maybe it is. Ask Lu Qingyu to find a partner, but the prerequisite is that you must pass his assessment before you can go. Lu Qingyu also found a few, thinking about getting through. But Grandpa couldn't even accept a move. And Lu Qingyu also has a very high vision. I really look down on ordinary warriors. But these 3 years of training. Lu Qingyu also became calmer. Although he sometimes has a dark personality, he is still much better. You mean, that little guy named Su Yang? Grandpa, are you investigating me? Lu Qingyu panicked. This is a seedling that was hard to find. Nonsense, how can any instructor directly exchange the blood of dragon, elephant and monster? I think it would be difficult not to investigate. Hey, Grandpa, I was wrong. Lu Qingyu stuck out her tongue slightly, also with a coquettish tone. Grandpa, just let me go to the front line. As long as Su Yang can get promoted through subsequent selections and get into the top 10, I agree. Good. Lu Qingyu also laughed. After all, Lu Qingyu was very satisfied with Su Yang's strength. As for the top 3, I don't expect it. But in the top 10, Lu Qingyu still thought that Su Yang should be able to get it. Grandpa, will this new student assessment be too serious? If a quasi-warrior wants to kill a warrior-level monster the day after tomorrow, will he? These things have been arranged, and the team is also led by the seniors of acquired warriors. As for the monsters, none of them can surpass the acquired warrior. Then the seniors of the warriors the day after tomorrow also started grading. Plus the surveillance is also scoring points. Those who fail to pass the exam will be removed from their student status. Maybe there's nothing wrong with being an ordinary person. Lu Qingyu knew the new students who had been eliminated. They are usually ordinary people who can no longer perceive spiritual energy. By the way, I'm very optimistic about that kid Su Yang, but he's just too weak. If he had been in the same batch as you a few years earlier, maybe he would have been able to become my grandson-in-law. Grandpa, what are you talking about? When Lu Qingyu heard this, her face turned red. But he soon calmed down. Think back to Su Yang. Although Lu Qingyu didn't get along with Su Yang for long. But we can also see Su Yang's character clearly. Su Yang's personality seems very easygoing. But it really comes down to fighting. There is absolutely no mercy in that. And Lu Qingyu saw an emotion in Su Yang's eyes. That is, I just want to become stronger. In order to become stronger, I will continue to work hard. As for the kind of love between men and women, Lu Qingyu also found no relationship history with Su Yang. Su Yang is as clean as a piece of white paper. This couldn't help but make Lu Qingyu feel curious, and also just a little curious. Su Yang left the demon-slaying platform again. But when I was walking halfway, my cell phone rang in my pocket. This Issa. Su Yang couldn't help but his eyes lit up after reading the message from Lu Qingyu. Because Lu Qingyu not only sent messages to Su Yang. I also sent messages in the group. Looking at the message from Lu Qingyu, Su Yang took a brief look. Also in a few weeks, there will be a trial assessment for new students in the college. He even mentioned some relevant matters and specific precautions. If that is the case, can I hunt the monsters myself? After Su Yang murmured, he continued to read, but his face turned bad. Accompanying, there are other seniors at the acquired warrior level. This is just to prevent accidents. But in this case, that's fine. Su Yang also understood that this time was just a trial. He has the strength of a quasi-warrior to challenge acquired warrior-level monsters. In addition to his own strength, it is really impossible to achieve a leapfrog challenge. Su Yang is because his physical strength has surpassed the acquired warrior level. In addition, the 5 elements and 10,000 transformations hands are at the perfect level. Only then can he fight the acquired warrior level 1-star monster. Otherwise, the fight that Su Yang wants to continue is simply a fantasy. Then I looked at it. Su Yang sensed boredom and gave up watching. It's just that the freshmen in the group have already exploded. What, do we want to go too? Holy crap, we can finally see the monster. Don't be so excited, be careful of becoming the monster's food. I haven't realized that the spiritual energy has entered the quasi-warrior yet. That's right, I heard that several other people in Su Yang's dormitory have also sensed spiritual energy and have become quasi-warriors. Oh, I'm really envious of sharing the same dormitory with Su Yang. When Su Yang saw the news, he couldn't help but touch his nose and felt embarrassed. After all, Su Yang didn't contribute. All this is their own fault. Girls' dormitory. Wang Yayuan frowned slightly and said a little doubtfully. Master, what do you think the academy is planning to do this time? I don't know. Maybe it's to let you freshmen experience monster blood in advance. Like this, Wang Yayuan couldn't help but remain silent, thinking about other things. Time is also passing by little. As for Lu Qingyu, she was also impatient. Because a week has passed. The second awakening thunder talent never appeared. When I think of this, Lu Qingyu couldn't help but feel suspicious, thinking of someone. Su Yang. It can't really be this kid, right? If someone awakens for the second time, he will definitely exchange for thunder-type exercises or thunder-type martial arts. Otherwise, the strength will drop significantly. Except for one thing. Unless those who have awakened for the second time has the ability to defeat monsters. New student. There are only a few who can sense spiritual energy and become quasi-warriors. When she thought of this, Lu Qingyu became very angry. You brat, what are you afraid of? After speaking, Lu Qingyu sent a message directly to all the freshman tutors. At this moment Su Yang also came to the square. After turning around to look, I found that they were all new students who had sensed spiritual energy and became quasi-warriors. What's going on? Holy shit, I don't know. I heard that it seems like a second test is required. It is estimated that the person who awakened for the second time did not show up, so a second test was required. Holy shit. Su Yang never expected that Lu Qingyu would be so cruel. But Ida's right to think about it. Because of the power of thunder talent. In addition, the thunder system is still a second awakening talent. This is enough to illustrate the importance of the second awakening. Su Yang. Ya. Wang Yayuan also came to Su Yang and asked in a low voice. Who do you think can awaken a second time? I don't know either. Wang Yayuan glanced at Su Yang strangely and rolled her eyes slightly. Knowing that Su Yang didn't like to show off very much, he didn't feel comfortable saying anything more. If it weren't for her master, Wang Yayuan really didn't know that Su Yang was the person who had the second awakening. This guy is so smooth-tongued and has so many secrets. What's wrong, master? This boy also has the talent of swordsmanship and swordsmanship. What? Wang Yayuan looked at Su Yang with wide eyes. What's wrong? Su Yang didn't know why Wang Yayuan looked at her, like she was looking at a monster. It's okay, I just thought of a pervert. Abnormal. Are you talking about me? Hey, why is this woman swearing? Su Yang also understood that Wang Yayuan might know something, but instead smiled and said nothing. What happened last time? Su Yang is also very curious about Wang Yayuan. But now in this situation, Su Yang is also sure of a lot. Wang Yayuan, able to have the ability to see through anyone. Su Yang plans to hide himself first when he draws an entry to hide himself in the future. Otherwise, it would be awkward to be seen through. It really made Su Yang feel on pins and needles. Soon Lu Qingyu's figure came over and looked at these would-be warriors indifferently. He also glanced at Su Yang. He said indifferently, not bad. Lu Qingyu didn't expect that in 2 weeks. Su Yang actually broke through to the 8-star level of a quasi-warrior. I guess it will be soon. It is about to break through to the acquired warrior. He is really a monster. When it comes to this, Lu Qingyu couldn't help but glance at Su Yang again and size it up. In fact, Su Yang is in this week. In order to allow the 3 exercises to be performed simultaneously. A lot has been suppressed since then. Otherwise, Su Yang's strength has already broken through to the level of acquired martial artist. Okay, come in with me one by one in order. Su Yang also understood that today he might expose his second awakening talent. When he thought of this, he also smiled and shook his head. Never mind, expose it, expose it. Little by little, people walked in front of Su Yang. It's just that when everyone comes out, they look very ordinary. After all, they are not just people who have truly awakened for the second time. Soon, it was Su Yang's turn. After Su Yang walked into the room, I also saw Lu Qingyu's teasing smile. As if to say, Sample, why don't you confess? Hello, senior sister. Lu Qingyu waved her hand jokingly, looking like she was young. Seeing Su Yang's smiling face, Lu Qingyu became angry. Awakening for the second time. Su Yang was stunned, and finally nodded helplessly. Have no idea. No matter how much you hide it, it's useless. Who knows that this time the other party came prepared and couldn't hide even if he wanted to. Ouch. Su-yong felt a pain in his head and rubbed his head painfully. Stop pretending, don't I know what your physical strength is? Hey. Su-yong smiled. Naturally, this is also a pretense. Why didn't you tell me about your second awakening? What are you afraid of? Lu Qingyu couldn't help but have a cold face, with a look of hatred in her tone. Thissa. Su-yong didn't know what he was afraid of, but Su-yong really wanted to hide himself. I don't really want to expose my full strength. Forget it, I know you like to be low-key, but sometimes being low-key is not a good thing. If you reveal your strength, there will definitely be many elders who will accept you as a disciple in advance. When the time comes, we will have whatever we need for cultivation resources and monster crystal cores. What Lu Qingyu said is true. But at the same time, Lu Qingyu also took out 3 exercises and handed them to Su-yong. For you, senior, what is this? Su-yong looked at the appearance of the 3 skills and couldn't help but asked in surprise. It's the exercises and martial arts that match your lightning talent. What about the other one? The other one is the body forging method of the thunder system. Lu Qingyu threw the 3 skills to Su-yong, and then continued talking. But I see that the physical training method on your body seems to be quite strong, so I don't know if you want to practice it, so I brought it to you first. Thank you, senior sister. Don't be in a hurry to thank me. Lu Qingyu quickly interrupted Su-yang's words of thanks and said helplessly. Su-yong, do you think our college is big? Is it grand? Academy, it's big, quite grand. Su-yong recalled that all the changes in the college were 4 to 5 times greater than those in the original school. Then I say that our college can only be regarded as a third-rate college. Do you believe it? What? Su-yong felt numb. Is this a third-rate college? As you know, we can only use these low-level techniques at the moment. If you want more advanced skills, you need to be promoted and promoted. But there is no end to the limits of a warrior. The techniques and martial arts also change very quickly. Furthermore, the research on the techniques is also very difficult. Currently, the academy can only give you 3 incomplete copies of the techniques. Incomplete technique. Su-yong was silent for a moment. If it were before, Su-yong would really have nothing to do with the incomplete technique. But now, Su-yong has automatically repaired entries. And there's more than one. Of course Su-yong would definitely be able to accept this. I hope you don't blame our academy for not being able to come up with lightning-type techniques. I thought it was something. Senior sister is fine. Su-yong waved his hand and then put away the 3 skills. After you pass the college assessment, you should be exposed to some things. Lu Qingyu smiled sadly. These 3 books are suitable for thunder-type exercises and martial arts. Lu Qingyu knew that it would definitely bring a little gap in Su-yang's heart. No way. The elders who research the exercises in the academy have not yet fully developed the entire set of exercises. As for Su-yong, he looked very happy and carefully put away these things. Then, senior sister, I'll leave first. Lu Qingyu nodded and indicated that Su-yong could leave. By the way, senior, I don't want others to know about my second awakening. I hope senior will keep it a secret for me. Okay, don't worry, I know you like to keep a low profile. While waiting for Su-yong to approach the door, Lu Qingyu stopped Su-yong again. Su-yong, don't forget, you still owe me a favor. Don't worry, I won't forget it. Su-yong waved his hand and then left the room. As for others, they also watched Su-yong leave the room. With the continuous testing of new students, in the end, Lu Qingyu also concealed the fact of the second awakening for Su-yong. Claimed to the outside world. The new students who have awakened for the second time have not yet been found. However, Wang Yaoyuan, one of the insiders, smiled after hearing the news. It seems that senior sister Lu also knows that Su-yong is the second awakening person. I can't believe that Su-yong has awakened so many talents for the second time. The moment I thought of this, Wang Yaoyuan couldn't help but look envious. There is only envy. Su-yong also returned to the dormitory. He couldn't help but open the 3 exercises and martial arts skills given to him by Lu Qingyu, including the bodybuilding method. Let's see what the name is. After Su-yong opened it and took a look, his face turned red. Thunder Kung Fu number 1. What is Thunder Kung Fu number 1? Are there such things as number 2 and no? 3. Su Yong also didn't know that the incomplete technique was only being studied at the institute, and it would not be named until the study was completed. But in order to number these exercises for easy recognition, this is the case. Forget it, never mind it. Su Yong no longer cared about anything else, but looked at the incomplete thunder technique indifferently. But Su Yong always felt strange the more he looked at it. Is this really a researched technique? Su Yong also discovered that the text on it was a bit unlike human language. But it is also noted below and analyzed. System, can I learn this technique and change my name? Ding. Yes, but the skill needs to be a first-level incomplete skill. Can the auto repair entry be completely repaired? Ding. Yes, it just takes more time. Tens of thousands or millions of years are possible. Holy shit. Su Yong felt that the system was joking with him. What about the other 2 books? What about martial arts and this bodybuilding method? Ding. There are matching exercises, martial arts, and bodybuilding techniques. Supplementary. Su Yong felt that he had missed something. He also couldn't help but send a message to Lu Qingyu to ask. This kid, do you have any training problems? After Lu Qingyu looked at the message sent by Su Yong, she couldn't help but feel that something had gone wrong in Su Yang's practice. But after thinking about it, I still made a call to someone else. Wait until you finish talking to the other party. Lu Qingyu also sent a message to Su Yong. He even gave an instruction. If something goes wrong, stop practicing. After Su Yong looked at the message sent by Lu Qingyu, he understood one thing completely. This set of exercises, it was not researched by the institute at all. It was just accidentally discovered by a high-level person, and then he thought it would be good for all forces to study it. Only then did he appear in the academy. Later, it also fell into the hands of Su Yong. So that's what it is. No wonder. Su Yong looked at this set of thunder-based exercises, martial arts, and bodybuilding techniques. Then let's practice this thing first. System, give it a name. Keep it simple. After Su Yong was silent for a moment, he directly called this thunder technique the Thunder God technique. Simple and crude. Ding. If you find a defective skill, Thunder God technique, should you add an entry for automatic repair? Add to. Ding. If a damaged martial skill, Thunder God's Fist, is found, should an automatic repair entry be added? Add to. Ding. Found the incomplete bodybuilding method and the Thor bodybuilding method. Do you want to add an automatic repair entry? Add to. Su Yong suddenly felt that there were countless pieces of information in his mind. Even this information comes from the Thunder God art. Thunder God technique, Thunder God Fist, Thunder God strengthening technique. The 3 cooperate with each other. It perfectly matches the lightning talent. The requirements for lightning talent are also extremely demanding. At the very least, only high-level lightning talents are required. Holy crap, if I were a beginner, wouldn't I still be able to practice? Su Yong was shocked. Just in case, I'd better to add the entry again first. Name, Thunder God technique. Quality, unknown, incomplete. Category, Thunder skills. Entry, automatic repair orange practice increase orange. Name, Fountain of Thunder God. Quality, unknown, incomplete. Category, Thunder martial arts. Entry, automatic repair orange martial arts experience orange attribute increase orange. Name, Thor strengthening method. Quality, unknown, incomplete. Category, Thunder system forging method. Entry, automatic repair orange practice increase orange. Then let's practice. Su Yong also knows that the 3 Thunder God techniques are completely complementary. There can be no carelessness. I'll be busy next time. Su Yong shook his head with a smile, and then he needed to practice 4 skills. The same goes for martial arts. And there is actually an additional bodybuilding method. It's just this exercise method. Su Yong felt more and more abnormal. It would be most effective to hit himself with lightning. Su Yong cursed secretly. Unless Su Yong can practice the dragon elephant bodybuilding technique to the highest level. Otherwise, hardly resistant to lightning strikes. Su Yong only felt, sorry, I can't do it. Su Yong was also immersed in the joy of practicing the Thunder God technique. Click. Su Yong suddenly felt as if a switch had been turned on in his body. In mind, There were countless sounds of lightning and thunder. Purple lightning struck the sky. The ground was torn apart by countless thunder and lightning, leaving wounds one after another. Ferocious yet terrifying. It's like a scene of destruction. After Su Yang was only briefly shocked, he also began to practice the thunder technique. Sizzle. While Su Yang was practicing, purple lightning halos appeared all over Su Yang's body. Like a series of spiritual snakes, they kept wandering all over Su Yang's body. Finally, it rushed to Su Yang's body. This is exactly the lightning aura, the aura of the thunder and lightning snake. Su Yang is also constantly absorbing. And the thunder snake was also cheering continuously. Like excitement, they all rushed to Su Yang's body. When Su Yang opened his eyes again, a purple lightning flashed in his eyes and disappeared in a flash. I didn't expect that a high-level talent is a high-level talent. What Su Yang never expected was that the high-level thunder talent was improved in just one day. It was almost beyond several other martial arts. Not bad. Su Yang nodded with satisfaction. Then he began to think. Thunder God's Fist. This is a set of boxing techniques, but it needs to be combined with the Thunder God's body forging technique. The stronger the Thunder God's body forging technique is, the stronger the Thunder God's Fist will be. This can also be considered a martial art that can only be performed in conjunction with the body forging technique. It looks like a punch to the flesh. Su Yang couldn't help but smile when he thought of this. But I still have to experiment first to see how to improve my Thunder God's body forging technique. Su Yang couldn't help but be silent for a moment. He kept thinking about the practice of the Thunder God's body forging technique. In addition to being struck by lightning, there is another way. That is to use the crystal core of a thunder monster in the blood of a thunder monster. Then use other thunder abilities or thunder martial arts. Constantly stimulate yourself. The process is quite anti-locking. It is also very tortuous. But this method is not as painful as being struck by lightning. Gah! Thinking of this, Su Yang felt speechless. Then he came to the place where martial arts were trained. He said hello to the senior guard and entered the training room. Su Yang looked at the human-shaped metal stake in front of him. Let's give it a try. Su Yang thought so in his heart. In an instant, Su Yang's body was covered with purple light, like a thunder snake, wrapped in Su Yang's fists. Thor's fist. Su Yang rushed out quickly and rushed to the metal stake in front of him. Bang! A loud noise came. Accompanied by the crackling sound of thunder and lightning, there was also the emergence of purple light. Then Su Yang slowly stopped swinging his fist. Puff! The next second Su Yang's chest was stuffy, and a mouthful of blood gushed out of the corner of his mouth. It's really the terrifying Thor's fist. Su Yang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Thor's fist. It was performed in conjunction with the Thunder God body forging method. But Su Yang didn't even practice the Thunder God body forging method. He just relied on his current physical body. If his physical strength hadn't been a little stronger, he would probably have been seriously injured by the backlash of the Thunder God's fist and had to rest for a while. It's quite troublesome. However, Su Yang looked at the metal stake, even if it was memory metal. It was also completely destroyed. The destructive power was really terrifying. This time, just treat it as a sure kill move. Su Yang also planned not to use the Thunder God's fist before practicing the Thunder God body forging method. Unless it was a last resort, or when facing death. After all, this thing. It's completely like a martial art that kills 100 enemies and loses 10,000 of its own. Let's go. Su Yang also turned and left. The memory metal stake was obviously completely destroyed by Su Yang. Not long after waiting for Su Yang to leave, the cleaning staff who cleaned the training room also walked in. But looking at the metal stakes, which seemed to be delayed in repair, I couldn't help but feel curious. I immediately called the senior who was guarding. What, you mean, the metal stakes can no longer be repaired? Who is in this training room? Get the records for me. Then Su Yang's information also appeared in front of them. It's this pervert. Seeing Su Yang's information. Those seniors who had met Su Yang naturally held their foreheads. But then they also sent a message to someone. As for this person, it was Lu Qingyu. Because of Su Yang's various things. Naturally, many people paid attention to him. Including Lu Qingyu, who also cared about Su Yang. Otherwise, he would not open a back door for Su Yang. It's really scary. Su Yang shook his body, which was sore all over, because of the Thunder God's fist. As a result, Su Yang's current physical strength has become a bit injured. It's better not to go down to the demon-slaying platform today. Su Yang also came to the demon-slaying platform. Coming. Yang Jian looked at Su Yang and then said calmly, "Hello, senior." Yang Jian looked at Su Yang and couldn't help but feel that Su Yang had a dangerous aura. This greatly surprised Yang Jian. I wonder if Su Yang is training some terrifying martial arts skills again. After these few days of getting along, Yang Jian completely understood one thing. That's why Su Yang gives people a very mysterious feeling. But there are so many things that appear one after another, and they don't seem to be seen through at all. Yang Jian looked at Su Yang as if he was very relaxed, contently watching the battle in the audience. It couldn't help but be weird. Aren't you going to fight? This is not like you before. Yang Jian knew that Su Yang was crazy these days, and he even started to challenge the peak warrior level monster the day after tomorrow. Just a lunatic, but there was no next battle today, which was unexpected. I won't go. There was a mistake in training and I got injured. Su Yang waved his hand. It's completely like it's trashed. Is that so? I still have some healing medicine over there, how about? No, senior, I'll just take a rest. Su Yang also understands Yang Jian's good intentions. Yang Jian is so friendly to Su Yang because he also takes a fancy to Su Yang's talent. Even Yang Jian revealed some things intentionally or unintentionally. That is, Yang Jian hopes that Su Yang will fight with him later. Of course, if Yang Jian had not broken through to the martial arts foundation before. Su Yang also readily accepted the agreement. Is it really okay? It's okay, don't worry. Do you think I'm such a trustworthy person? That's true. Yang Jian nodded undeniably. Then Su Yang also looked at the seniors in the audience calmly and fought with monsters. This can be regarded as finding some fun during leisure time. Yang Jian also knew what Su Yang was thinking. Also watching this scene bored. Time is also passing slowly. Su Yang also felt bored, said hello to Yang Jian and left the demon-slaying platform. Senior, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I might not see you tomorrow. I plan to try martial arts foundation building again. Su Yang nodded after hearing Yang Jian's words. Then, congratulations in advance to Senior's martial arts foundation. If Yang Jian had established his martial arts foundation in advance, Su Yang would have saved himself the trouble of fighting Yang Jian. Isn't it good to be in harmony? It's not a life and death battle with monsters. In this case, Su Yang might kill him. You guy. Yang Jian laughed and cursed. Knowing what Su Yang was thinking, he smiled and shook his head. After watching Su Yang leave, Yang Jian also looked at it for a while, then turned around and left feeling bored. Su Yang returned to the rebirth area from the demon-slaying platform. Su Yang, is something wrong? After Su Yang saw Wang Yayuan, his scalp became numb. Because of the other party's ability, Su Yang always felt as if she had been seen through. He probably even knew what he was wearing. Depend on. Something really happened. Su Yang also smiled awkwardly, and then asked Wang Yayuan what happened. Well, tell me something. I just want to ask about the battle between us warriors and monsters. Wang Yayuan knew that Su Yang might not want to see her, and she also understood that Su Yang was a little wary. But this time, Wang Yayuan indeed came to Su Yang for something. Otherwise, Wang Yayuan would not want to wander around in front of Su Yang, making Su Yang wary of her. If Su Yang is really disgusted with her by then, the loss will be huge. A battle between warriors and monsters. Su Yang was silent for a moment. He said something that made Wang Yayuan speechless. Does it count to be easily crushed? Wang Yayuan. Just kidding. Su Yang also teased Wang Yayuan. After all, he understood that not everyone could kill monsters instantly. But Su Yang didn't lie either. If you really want to say that. Su Yang then became extremely serious. Fight to the death. Only through life and death battles can one's strength be improved quickly. A fight to the death. Yes, is there any chance for monsters and humans to coexist peacefully? Su Yang asked Wang Yayuan in return. If it were said that Yang Jian hated those monster creatures. The same is true for Su Yang. That's it, I understand. Thank you, Su-yang. Wang Yayuan nodded, also understanding that Su-yang was a person with a story. Well, see you next time. After saying that, Su-yang also planned to leave here. After all, while staying here, Su-yang felt as if everything had been seen through. Although it has been seen through. Why is this guy running so fast? Wang Yayuan couldn't help but smile and shake her head, and then fell silent. Master, I don't recommend you to fight. After all, you are still too weak now. Wang Yayuan knew that her strength was a bit weak. But she still wanted to fight. After all, this is the path she will take in the future. However, Master, I still want to see it. Wang Yayuan has never experienced a battle, nor has she seen a battle between a human warrior and a monster. Because human society is very strictly managed. It also protects ordinary people very well. Since then, only by passing the talent test can one be exposed to the battle between warriors and humans. Of course, you can still watch it through video recording. But it's better to be there than to see it. By the way, Su-yang seems to be. Master, no need. After all, Su-yang has his own strength. You don't need to tell me so much. This is other people's privacy. It's not good to reveal other people's privacy. Wang Yayuan also interrupted the master's revelation. After all, this is already touching other people's privacy. Okay, but I just want to say one thing, this kid is a monster now. If you can be friends with him, be friends with him. Wang Yayuan also understands how powerful Su-yang is. He is also a quasi-warrior after his second awakening. The strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Kendo. Knife road. There is also a lightning talent. These talents appear randomly in the hands of a quasi-warrior, and he is immortal on the way to improving his strength. Then he must be the genius guarding the human world. When I think of this, Wang Yayuan couldn't help but reveal an envious smile. Then he turned on his phone and sent a message to Su-yang. After all, Wang Yayuan really wanted to ask for something. Otherwise, Su-yang would not be disturbed. It's just that Su-yang left quickly just now, so Wang Yayuan didn't tell Su-yang what happened. What are you doing to me, you fool? Su-yang was speechless. Then he turned on his phone and checked the information. So she wanted me to take her to the demon-slaying platform. Su-yang was silent for a moment. Then he sent the information in his hand. I plan to take her over tomorrow to have a look. But the prerequisite is that you need to say hello to Lu Qingyu. After sending the message, similarly, Su-yang also began to slowly recover from his injuries. After all, the power of the Thunder Fist backlashes. It still made Su-yang feel extremely painful. At present, it is not possible to improve the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. The only way to improve the body's strength is through the 5 Yuan Dragon Elephant bodybuilding method. Su-yang also thought about something. That is to ask Lu Qingyu to continue to help him find the monster blood with thunder and lightning properties, as well as the monster crystal core. But think about it. It's not good to ask others all the time. Don't owe others any favors when the time comes. This is not worth the gain. In a place where others don't owe him anything, there is no need. Let's talk about it later. Early the next morning. Good morning, Su-yang. Holy shit. Su-yang was speechless when she heard Wang Yayuan's voice. Sister, what are you doing in the boys' dormitory? Su-yang turned to look at the boys' dormitory and saw countless heads hiding. Morning. Su-yang laughed and shook his head. Wang Yayuan also smiled, and then said, I don't know when you are talking about, so I came here to wait for you. It's okay, let's eat first. Su-yang planned to finish eating first and then go there. Naturally, the demon-slaying platform is very familiar. By the way, have you told senior sister Lu? Did you ask her to get your identity information for you? Su-yang also reminded Wang Yayuan. After all, the last time Su-yang was able to enter, it was Lu Qingyu who also obtained the information in advance. Otherwise, Su-yang wants to enter the demon-slaying platform. Don't even think about it. Well, it's been taken care of. Wang Yayuan also talked for a long time yesterday, and Lu Qingyu reluctantly got some information for her. That's good. Su-yang nodded and walked into the freshman cafeteria. Then he ate some high-energy food made of monster flesh and blood, and then left with Wang Yayuan. Wang Yayuan also left the freshman area for the first time and headed in the direction of the demon-slaying platform. Senior. Su Yang also handed the ID card to the guard senior. Hey, junior fellow student is here, come in. By the way, senior, this is my friend and we are together. Su Yang then handed Wang Yayuan's student card to the other party. Well, junior, take your friends and go in. The senior guard also had a look that I understood, and he laughed playfully. Just as Su Yang walked in with Wang Yayuan, there were waves of whispers behind him. You said my junior is so strong, why would he find such an ordinary girl? Maybe this is what I want, junior. It's possible. Nima, all the juniors have partners, but we don't have one, why don't we? Su Yang was speechless when he heard the words of these two seniors. I even wanted to shout. This woman is not my partner. Don't talk nonsense. I don't want to ruin my innocent name. As for Wang Yayuan, when he heard this, he didn't have any reaction on the surface. But the scene under the mask had already become extremely red. But after turning his head to look at Su Yang, he found that Su Yang also looked plain. Then I relaxed a lot. Soon the two of them also entered the demon-slaying platform. Hey, junior fellow student is here, this is. Ah, senior, this is me. I see, you know your uncle, can you let me finish what I'm saying? Su Yang suddenly felt speechless. This is crazy. What kind of looks are these? Don't you see it? We are just friends. In the end, Su Yang was also messed up. Let the seniors think whatever they want. Wang Yayuan also felt that the entire demon-slaying platform was filled with the smell of blood, as well as the smell of killing. Sure enough, Wang Yayuan also saw a senior fighting with a Hutian-level warrior. It's a complete battle of life and death. Su Yang also watched this scene attentively. As for Wang Yayuan on the side, do whatever you love. Anyway, Su Yang has already brought this woman here, and then it will be her turn. Whatever Wang Yayuan does has nothing to do with Su Yang. As for the big bullying the small things, Su Yang has not discovered it yet. Or maybe it's because these seniors didn't just offend Su Yang. After all, Su Yang's improvement speed shocked them all, and it was too late to build a good relationship. If you offend Su Yang, you may be resented by a genius. That's a scary thing. That's what's next. The acquired warrior level 7-star monster. Violent King Kong. The lowest challenger shall not exceed the peak of acquired warriors. Would any junior come to challenge me? Violent King Kong. Su Yang was silent for a moment, recalling the other party's information. It is also a type of thunder demon ape. He is the one with relatively good physical strength. But it is faster and more violent than the gangly demon ape. Su Yang couldn't help but notice that someone was watching him, and subconsciously looked back. Holy shit, what happened? Su Yang found that many people were staring at him. Even the other seniors did not take the lead in shouting, obviously intending to watch Su Yang's battle. Senior, let me do it. As soon as Su Yang's shout came out, all the seniors became excited. Ha ha ha, I finally waited for my junior to take action again. It's just that my junior's actions were very rough. Seeing my junior's appearance, I want to continue to improve my physical fitness. Just think about it, that kind of exercise is simply not done by humans. Hehe, that's right, exercise. After Wang Yayuan also heard the news, she couldn't help but be curious to see how strong Su Yang's body was. Su Yang also came to the most central position. Then the iron fence slowly opened. Roar, a roar sounded. A huge monkey-like creature appeared in front of Su Yang. Under the hair on the body, there is skin as hard as iron. Ha, I hope you can bring me pleasure. After speaking, Su Yang slowly moved his body. As for yesterday's injury, it also took Su Yang a long time to recover. Roar, seeing the idle look of the human in front of him, the violent King Kong also roared angrily and rushed towards Su Yang. Well done. Su Yang suddenly jumped up and rushed towards the violent King Kong. The violent King Kong also roared angrily. He waved his fist and hit the human in front of him hard. Bang! But in the next second, a huge sound came. The figure of violent King Kong flew upside down. Only Su Yang's figure remained in place, and then Su Yang's figure flashed continuously and appeared in front of violent King Kong. Piercing wooden fingers. Chapter 41. Wang Yayuan's beautiful eyes widened and she looked at this scene in shock. At this moment, Su Yang stood in front of the violent King Kong who had died long ago. Like a killing god, it gives people an aura of coercion. Isn't this kid's physical strength too terrifying? Seeing Su Yang's terrifying physical strength, even Wang Yayuan's master was still surprised. No wonder I was able to leapfrog and kill the acquired warrior level monster. Wang Yayuan also recovered from the shock. It's really strong. For the power of Su Yang. Wang Yayuan said that she still cannot surpass Su Yang. Su Yang also returned to his seat, looking at the next battle with a dull look. Just in the battle just now, Su Yang also felt very bored. The opponent is too weak. Su Yang also wanted to challenge the innate warrior level monster when the time came for the assessment. After all, now Su Yang has also discovered that the acquired warrior level monster seems to be unable to fully display his strength. Wang Yayuan looked at it very seriously. After all, this will be of great help to future battles. Is he gone? Wang Yayuan also noticed that Su Yang had actually left the demon-slaying platform. After looking at it for a while, he left as well. Su Yang spent the rest of his time doing nothing but practicing. Not on the way to cultivation. Just on the way to practice martial arts. For Su Yang, improving his strength is the most important thing. Within a few consecutive days, Su Yang has always had a headache with the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. This thing is also quite good for subsequent battles. Even understand, thunder-based exercises, as well as thunder-based martial arts and body forging techniques are very scarce. But the good thing is one thing. That is, Su Yang has an automatically repaired entry. He is slowly recovering the Thunder God technique, the Thunder God's fist, and the Thunder God's bodybuilding technique all the time. I haven't seen you here in the past few days. Yang Jian couldn't help but smile after seeing Su Yang coming over. If you continue to practice, you will be tested after all. Ha 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 ha, I almost forgot, you are still a freshman. Have you broken through to build a martial arts foundation? Su Yang couldn't help but ask a question. Thinking that if Yang Jian broke through to martial arts foundation soon, he wouldn't have to fight Yang Jian so much. It can't be that easy. Martial arts foundation building is the biggest difficulty for all warriors. If you don't build a good foundation, you will be beyond redemption and become a complete useless person. Yang Jian shook his head helplessly. Su Yang also nodded thoughtfully. As for martial arts foundation building, Su Yang hasn't reached that point yet. He should first think about breaking through to become a warrior the day after tomorrow. But you are also very fast, and you are actually about to break through to the acquired warrior level. It's okay, I feel it's quite slow. Yang Jian. Okay, it's time for me to go back. Yang Jian shook his head and was speechless about Su Yang's Versailles speech. But it's also hard to say much. After Yang Jian left, Su Yang was also speechless. This thing is indeed quite slow. If Su Yang is not practicing other skills, then training his own martial arts. It is estimated that due to Su Yang's terrifying increase in strength, he has long been promoted to the acquired warrior. The next step is to prepare and take the assessment. Su Yang also shook his head helplessly. Time passes bit by bit. Same. The assessment of new students in the college also started slowly. At the moment on the playground, it was densely packed with new students. Lu Qingyu also rarely appeared in Su Yang's freshman class. After this period of time, Su Yang there are still many new quasi-warriors in Su Yang's entire class who have successfully sensed spiritual energy. Those whose names are read will come out, Lu Qingyu said calmly and indifferently. Then the roll call began one by one. Su Yang also noticed. Other classes are also starting to choose something. Su Yang couldn't help but become weird after hearing Lu Qingyu call her. What did this senior call him for? Wang Yayuan, get out of the queue. Lin Fei, get out of the queue. Li He, get out of the queue. King, Lu Qingyu called a lot of names, and then looked at those people who hadn't been mentioned. He said with a decisive tone, because you haven't realized the spiritual energy yet. So, you will be expelled from the academy and become a field staff. If you feel that field workers are tired, you can choose to go back and become an ordinary person. Su Yang also understands what field staff means. That is the new life who has not realized the spiritual energy, and can choose to realize the spiritual energy again. But only for 1 year. Within a year, if there are field staff who have not realized the spiritual energy, you can also choose to stay here and work for the college. You can also choose to go out and become an ordinary person. However, within this year, if you successfully comprehend spiritual energy and become a quasi-martial artist, you will also continue to become a new student and stay in the academy. Lu Qingyu also felt regretful. It's not that Lu Qingyu is cruel. It was Lu Qingyu who fought for the greatest power for these other freshmen. Senior, isn't this unfair? Fairness. What does fairness mean? If you don't have talent, you don't have talent. The academy won't raise idlers. Lu Qingyu's face was cold, and she looked a little guilty at first, but she suddenly became indifferent. Now, if you still have questions, you can choose to leave the academy and become an ordinary person. Snort. Lu Qingyu snorted coldly after speaking. Then he led the entire class of 30 quasi-warriors who had sensed spiritual energy. The same goes for other classes. Su Yang was also brought to a vast parking lot. One floating spaceship appeared in front of Su Yang. That broad body is like a football field, and the aura full of metal and steel, just like a giant steel beast. Let's go, get on the boat. A total of 3 floating spaceships stand here. And the entire spaceship, it can also accommodate tens of thousands of new students. After Su Yang entered the interior, he found rows of seats. All sit down. Wait for everyone to find their seats one after another. Lu Qingyu also nodded with satisfaction, and then began to give instructions on the spacecraft to pay attention to. I hope you can hear what I say next clearly. First, after getting off the spaceship, find your team leader. The information will be sent to your mobile phones later. Second, after you find your team leader, you must obey your team leader's words. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, he will not be responsible for all the responsibilities. Third, as for what happened this time, I think you all know that this is an assessment, and those who fail will be kicked out of the academy and become field staff. 4. Some of them are very strong, but I hope you can follow the leader. Of course, you can also challenge the monsters on your own. After hearing these words, Su Yang felt a black line on his forehead. Lu Qingyu was not talking about him. Except Su Yang. Among the new students in this batch, they have never experienced fighting monsters. Su Yang also noticed Lu Qingyu's eyes and couldn't help but touch her nose in embarrassment to relieve her embarrassment. The next step is to wait for half an hour and no talking is allowed. Otherwise, the results will be invalid. As soon as these words came out, the freshmen who originally wanted to chat immediately shut up and stopped talking. As for Su Yang, she also closed her eyes slightly. He looked like he was concentrating with his eyes closed, waiting for the spacecraft to go to the assessment area. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 3 roars sounded, and 3 giant steel beasts flew into the sky. Like a sharp arrow coming out of its bow, it flew rapidly in one direction. Su Yang also closed his eyes calmly. As for external affairs, it is none of his business anyway. As for Wang Yayuan, who was behind Su Yang, she also noticed Su Yang's appearance. He knew in his heart that Su Yang didn't care much about this assessment. Su Yang's strength completely eliminates the need for freshman assessment. Acquired warrior level strength, coupled with the terrifying physique and physical strength before. Put this out. As long as a monster appears in front of Su Yang, it may be like a sheep in a tiger's mouth, and he won't be able to escape even if he wants to. The spaceship was traveling very fast. Less than half an hour. Also arrived at the destination location. A huge steel fortress appeared in everyone's sight. Then Su Yang opened her eyes slightly, and she didn't look like she was asleep. Instead, her eyes were a little more excited. Finally, Su Yang is full of desire for monsters. After all, killing monsters allows Su Yang to obtain more entries. We're here, ready to disembark. After speaking, Lu Qingyu also took the lead to get off the spacecraft with the crew. Same. Su Yang also noticed rows of acquired peak-level warriors standing there. All freshmen, look for your team leader. Didi. Just as Lu Qingyu finished speaking, Su Yang also received the message. Then Su Yang also looked for his own team. Hello, senior. Su Yang also greeted him with a flat smile. You. But in the next second, it became clear that the other party knew Su Yang's strength and couldn't help but be surprised. He looked at Su Yang strangely. Are you a new student? Yes, senior. Su Yong also showed his student card. Your name is Su Yong. That perverted body training lunatic. Su Yong. Su Yong said she was speechless. Who the hell goes around giving people nicknames? Cough cough cough. I am your team leader. My name is Wang Hao. Wang Hao also knew that he might have said the wrong thing, so he couldn't help but cough twice in embarrassment. Hello, senior. Well, just wait a minute. Wang Hao also nodded, and then slowly began to wait for the other new students to arrive. After all, Wang Hao is also the leader of the team. Wang Hao saw that all the new students assigned to him had arrived, and then continued talking. If everyone is here, then we can leave first. Wang Hao was also very straightforward. He planned to take Su Yong and others to hunt some monsters first, and then talk about some wild hunting techniques. Su Yong also followed Wang Hao. The same is true for several people accompanying him. But Wang Hao also assigned a task to Su Yong. That is, Su Yong actually became the deputy leader of the team. This left Su Yong speechless. Okay, let's go first. Wang Hao also explained to Su Yong and others very seriously, and slowly came to a jungle. Don't be left behind, but don't be afraid either. Once the path of a warrior shrinks, it will be difficult to progress. If something goes wrong while building the foundation of martial arts, and the state of mind is destroyed, then the foundation building of martial arts will be completely useless. Wang Hao also told them everything he knew. Also, if you are in the wild, you should also pay attention to some poisonous insects and the like. It's fine if it's just an ordinary poisonous insect. You just need to bring some repellent. But if you encounter that kind of monster and poisonous insect, just run as far away as possible. Su Yong also slowly listened to Wang Hao's story. After all, what Wang Hao talked about was common sense, and it was also something Su Yong would prepare for in the future. As Wang Hao continued to talk, Su Yong and his party also headed deeper into the forest. This forest is just a very ordinary forest. The highest strength will not exceed the peak realm of acquired warriors. So when you encounter a monster, don't be afraid, show your determination to fight to the death. As for Su Yang's words, I won't say much about them. Su Yang's name also spread among old students. Yang Jian also takes great care of Su Yong. Regarding Yang Jian's character, Wang Hao still heard about it. Although his personality is a little weird, he is still very good to other people. But if you want to chat with Yang Jian for a long time, there probably won't be many people. But Su Yong is also among these people. Roar. Just as Wang Hao was leading the team, he heard a roar. A figure that looked like a tiger appeared in front of Wang Hao. Fierce tiger with fangs. Wang Hao also became vigilant, and Su Yong was also curious. A rare item among acquired warrior-level monsters actually appeared. Be ready for battle. Wang Hao naturally said this to others. He glanced at Su Yong, and then warned Su Yong. Su Yong, you can't take action, otherwise I will judge you as unqualified. Su Yong. What Su Yong wants to say is, Senior, please let me take action. It would be bad if this monster hurts other people. The other freshmen were also extremely surprised. I don't know what Su Yong did to prevent Su Yong from intervening. Surround them, don't be caught in any gaps, I will command you to fight. The other 9 people also surrounded the Fang Tiger monster in front of them. Roar. After seeing this scene, the Fang Tiger couldn't help but roar in the sky, while its bloodthirsty eyes stared at Su Yong and Wang Hao. After all, the strength of Wang Hao and Su Yong has reached the warrior level in the background. As a fierce tiger with wild beast instincts, naturally, they regard Su Yong and Wang Hao as dangerous creatures. Do your best, don't worry, I will help you too. Wang Hao also knew that the Fang Tiger was not an ordinary acquired warrior-level monster. This time, Wang Hao couldn't help but become nervous. There is also a 1-meter-long weapon in his hand, a wide tiger-headed sword. I'll go first, you guys stop it. Wang Hao shouted loudly, and the long knife in his hand condensed a fiery red light, like a raging fire. Fire sword technique. Explosive wind slash. When Su Yong saw this scene, his eyes lit up. I didn't expect that he is a senior who is talented in the art of swordsmanship. Roar. The Fang fierce tiger roared loudly and finally fell into a pool of blood, staring at Wang Hao with unwilling eyes. As for Wang Hao, he also breathed a sigh of relief. Then he put away the long knife. Other freshman. Also tired and panting, he lay on the ground. The quasi-warrior defeated the acquired warrior-level monster. This is already well done. Not bad. Wang Hao also nodded with satisfaction. As for Su Yang, who was watching the show, Wang Hao did not let him take action. Once Su Yang takes action, it is estimated that there is no way to train these other freshmen. Su Yang, why don't you help us? But Wang Hao thinks so, but other freshmen don't think so. Someone raised a question. This move was like igniting gunpowder. Yes, Su Yang, you are so powerful, why don't you help us take action together? Su Yang waved his hand, looking very casual. Sorry, senior said, I don't need to take action. You do whatever the senior says. Why do you listen to the senior so much? Su Yang also looked at these new students like clowns. Shut up. Wang Hao couldn't help but snorted coldly, and also gave these new students a bad review. A negative review is required. Senior Wang, look, you don't want me to take action, so that's it. Su Yang didn't blame anyone, he just waved his hand helplessly. Just in the next second, the roar that appeared again completely shocked everyone. A fanged tiger with the same size as before appeared in front of everyone. Wang Hao's expression changed. If he were alone, he might be able to deal with this fanged tiger. But other freshmen can't take action. After all, this can be considered an assessment among freshmen. Senior Wang, I should be the one to solve this problem now. Su Yang looked at Wang Hao with a half-smile. Wang Hao also smiled bitterly and nodded, indicating that Su Yang could go fight. Well, Su Yang shook his head helplessly, and then looked at the freshmen who had opinions just now, but now their faces turned pale. With a slightly sarcastic smile. You tell me why I watch the show, and then I will tell you why I watch the show. After saying that, under everyone's surprised looks, Su Yang kicked out and the ground instantly sunk into a small pit. Roar! The fanged fierce tiger roared immediately when he saw a human being trying to resist. The figure also quickly rushed towards Su Yang, who was hungry. Shan legs. Su Yang also snorted softly, and the speed of his body was like an arrow leaving the string. A flash step came to the side of the fanged tiger. The fanged tiger felt the terrifying kick and suddenly panicked, thinking about fighting back. Die! Bang! Like a kite with broken strings, the fanged tiger was kicked away by Su Yang and broke several trees before stopping. However, the fanged tiger also fell to the ground, showing no signs of getting up. Su Yang also looked at the other freshmen indifferently and clapped his hands relaxedly. Holy shit! When Wang Hao saw this scene, he instantly felt that he was back alive. Those of them who are old students have naturally heard of Su Yang's name. But Su Yang could kill an acquired warrior-level fanged tiger with one kick, which Wang Hao never expected. What? When the other freshmen saw Su Yang's actions, they couldn't help but froze in shock. Su Yang also returned to Wang Hao out of boredom. Ahem, let's continue looking for monsters next. In the base control room, surveillance pictures appeared everywhere in the hall. Lu Qingyu also noticed an interface. Transferred immediately. What? That's a perfection-level martial skill. Lu Qingyu looked at the figure on the video. It is Su Yang. I saw Su Yang kicking an acquired warrior-level fanged tiger to death. This kid is so well hidden. If I hadn't been sharp-eyed, I would have been deceived by this kid. Su Yang was very subtle when he kicked the fanged tiger to death. He didn't show any more martial arts skills, and he wasn't sloppy at all. If Lu Qingyu hadn't watched this movement 2 or 3 times, I was really deceived by Su Yang. It is indeed a monster. But after Lu Qingyu watched for a long time, he found that Su Yang never made a move again. Think about it. Su Yang's strength is also quite strong. If he takes action again, these freshmen will also be unable to complete the college assessment. Pity. Lu Qingyu also wanted to see Su Yang's strength. But now, Su Yang was like a salted fish, not moving anymore. Let's look at other things. Lu Qingyu couldn't help but look at the other freshman students. It's that little girl. The same goes for Wang Yayuan, fighting with a violent King Kong. The leader of the team was also giving Wang Yayuan points. At this moment Wang Yayuan also became exhausted. As for the other freshmen, they were already exhausted. Because it was not because of the fangs and fierce tigers, the team leader did not help, but just watched by himself. The team leader will not take action unless he has to. Just use some language to let these freshmen make fighting changes. Not bad, I can still hold on. Lu Qingyu nodded with satisfaction and continued to look at the other students. After watching it for a long time, Lu Qingyu breathed a sigh of relief. After all this moment, Lu Qingyu also felt extremely relaxed. Otherwise, if things go wrong, Lu Qingyu will also feel regretful. Because the first day is only the assessment time. But there is always an adaptation process for the new students. Soon it was night time. Su Yang and others also returned to the base. But except for Su Yang, everyone else was too tired to get up. The other team leaders didn't say much. After all, these are people who have been here before. Okay, let's go to the room and rest. We have a day off tonight and get ready tomorrow. There are still 3 days of assessment time, and we won't be returning to the base at night. Wang Hao's words were like bad news, making these freshmen feel like hell. It's better now. I originally thought I would just come back and rest in the evening. As a result, I never came back to rest at night. As for Su Yang, she didn't think anything of it and sat alone in the room. Other freshmen are resting, and Su Yang was also wandering around feeling bored. Hey, that's... Su Yang also saw a place where weapons were placed, and couldn't help but walked over curiously. These are all free. Wang Hao couldn't help but smile. These things are all free, instead of exchanging weapons for the freshmen and bringing them over. There are also many daily necessities and the like. As for Su Yang, he is a monster that can use the strength of his body to harden steel, so naturally he doesn't have any weapons. It's free of charge. Su Yang also carries 2 weapons, a long sword and a long knife. This just suits his kendo, and the way of the sword. Then Su Yang also looked not far away, and there was a boxing glove. Bring it with you as well. After lightly throwing 2 punches, I found that it was quite easy. But Wang Hao on the side became stunned. I never expected that Su Yang would be so greedy that others would only need a weapon. As a result, Su Yang was directly planning to harvest the wool and took 3 weapons. But there seems to be no rule that others cannot take 3 weapons. Wang Hao laughed and shook his head. Wang Hao is very satisfied with Su Yang's evaluation. First of all, let's not talk about his own strength, but also Su Yang's character and his somewhat insightful appearance. This has surpassed many freshmen. Night comes quickly too. As for Su Yang, she naturally showed a greedy character. Take as many wild hunting props as you can. Anyway, the space ring Lu Qingyu gave Su Yang was quite big. As for weapons, Su Yang sneaked over and picked up 3 styles, hundreds of each. However, this news also reached Lu Qingyu's ears. Lu Qingyu was so angry that she almost cursed, and came to the weapons platform in a hurry. Su Yang, stop it. After Su Yang heard that it was Lu Qingyu, he immediately put the weapon in his hand into the space ring. Senior. Su Yang also said hello with a smile. Lu Qingyu was furious when she saw that Su Yang had just secretly put away another long sword. Come here. Su Yang also followed Lu Qingyu boredly. As for the others, they all looked like they were watching a show. Su Yang is really brave. What? This can be considered frugal. I heard that Su Yang almost took all the free stuff. What? Does Su Yang have such a big backpack? Hey, don't you know this? I heard that Su Yang has a space ring. Holy shit, I'm so jealous. Su Yang followed Lu Qingyu and came to Lu Qingyu's office. Senior, you brat, are you so short of those things? Lu Qingyu was furious, even though she knew that Su Yang was a little greedy. But this time, some things were taken away directly. When Lu Qingyu heard the news, he was also angry and laughing. Senior sister, actually you also know that I am just an acquired warrior from an ordinary force, and I don't want to either. Su Yang expressed his innocence. After all, this thing. Su Yang also feels that if you don't take it, you won't get it, right? What is given for free is always the most fragrant. Lu Qingyu also shook her head helplessly. There was really nothing she could do against Su Yang. Didn't I give you so many college points? Are they used up so quickly? Lu Qingyu couldn't help but look at Su Yang suspiciously. Su Yang still has a lot of college points. Especially since I 100,000 won college points last time. Said it would be all used up in a week or 2. Lu Qingyu wouldn't believe it even to death. Yes, but I use it to exchange for other things. Something else. The way Lu Qingyu looked at Su Yang, she probably wasn't telling lies. What's that? I can't say it. I'm afraid if I say it, I will owe my senior another favor. Su Yang would never tell Lu Qingyu what he needed. Once I accept Lu Qingyu's gift again, then Su Yang must also owe Lu Qingyu a favor. Although now Su Yang owes Lu Qingyu a lot. But it's not like I won't pay it back. If the debt continues like this, there is really no way to repay it. Should you tell me? If you don't tell me, how will I know what you are missing? Thunder-type monster crystal core, and thunder-type monster blood, or maybe my senior knows where to make thunder, so I can just let the lightning strike me. What? Lu Qingyu suspected that she heard wrongly. Lightning, you are learning the thunder system's bodybuilding method. Well, yes, senior, but I don't plan to ask for it anymore. After all, I owe too much. If it's too much, I won't be able to repay it. Su Yang also put away his playful look and spoke his thoughts in an easygoing manner. I want to give it to you, but it's useless. Lu Qingyu smiled bitterly. Thunder-type monster crystal cores and monster blood are even scarcer than your dragon elephant blood. Ah, senior sister, do you know where these things appear? Unless you enter the realm of innate warriors and go to other ancient secret realms, or small world secret realms. A thunder monster. Lu Qingyu didn't meet many either. This time, Lu Qingyu really couldn't help Su Yang. But why can the blood of dragon and elephant be given so easily? Because in some secret realms, these are half-dragon creatures, they just contain the blood of dragons. If this is the case, it is also the kind that cannot be brought to the forefront. That's it. Su Yang nodded, but he also had a decision in mind. The worst-case scenario is just being struck by lightning. As for the lightning strike you mentioned, it should be quite dangerous. Lu Qingyu thought for a while and then said something. Do you really want to practice that thunder-based bodybuilding technique? Yes. Lu Qingyu looked at Su Yang's actions, and then said with a smile. If I tell you, do you owe me another favor? This. Su Yang couldn't help but feel speechless. Why was this woman thinking about wanting him to owe a favor all day long? Don't worry, but you need to complete the first favor before you can complete the second favor. Of course, you have to upgrade to the innate warrior level as soon as possible, otherwise, you will never be able to obtain those things again. Innate warrior level strength. Su Yang couldn't help but nodded. I also made a decision in my heart, which is to wait and practice. Okay, stop gathering the college's wool around. You have to go hunting tomorrow morning. Lu Qingyu waved her hand in disgust, signaling Su Yang to leave quickly. Su Yang also smiled and closed the door and left Lu Qingyu's office. Also started to speculate. The Thunder God's bodybuilding method seems to require an innate warrior level of strength to improve. But at my rate of improvement. The corner of Su Yang's mouth smiled slightly. Less than 3 months. Su Yang was confident and practiced the 4 skills directly to the realm of the innate warrior. Let's talk about it after we go back first. It is impossible for Su Yang to continue practicing during these 3 days. After all, it's a waste of time. And Su Yang also knew that there might be some movement while he was practicing. Because Su Yang also heard some words from people in the dormitory. While practicing, it seemed like there was a little thunder. This time, Su Yang also paid attention to it for a long time. Su Yang did not choose to practice, after all, the thing was too noisy. It is better to choose to be low-key. A ray of sunlight emerged. The light shines on a huge steel building. After a door slowly opened, countless quasi-warriors came out one after another. This is exactly the new student. Su Yang also stretched and felt the sunshine, which was quite good. Let's go. Wang Hao also led other freshman students in the same direction. As for Su Yang, he was also following behind. Wang Yaoyuan also noticed Su Yang, and did not choose to disturb Su Yang, but called Su Yang to stop. Senior sister, you had a good fight yesterday. Let's work hard again today. Wang Yaoyuan's team leader also noticed that she was dazed and couldn't help but remind her. Yes, I understand, senior. The other party just looked at Wang Yaoyuan indifferently. Because Wang Yaoyuan is too ordinary and will not cause anyone's mood swings. But who knows the actual face? Roar. A violent King Kong kept roaring and looked at the human in front of him with its huge eyes. As for its surroundings, it has long been surrounded by other human quasi-warriors. This team is Su Yang's team. Seize the opportunity, don't be afraid, and don't flinch, otherwise you will be the first to be targeted by the monster. Wang Hao also told the truth. It also reminds these new students of their emotional changes. As for Su Yang, he watched this scene calmly. He didn't choose to help the new students fight. Same. This is also what Wang Hao and Lu Qingyu warned Su Yang. Su Yang also shook his head helplessly. Unless something unexpected happens, it would be a dream for Su Yang to take action. The violent King Kong glared fiercely, with a majestic bloodthirsty aura, and stared at the new students in front of him with wide eyes. Roar! Another roar echoed through the entire forest. Some freshmen also couldn't help but retreat. As if sensing the other person's fear, violent King Kong couldn't help but take steps towards the other person. Not good. When Wang Hao saw this scene, the long knife appeared in his hand again. I plan to help. Let me do it. Su Yang was silent for a moment, and then continued. Good. Wang Hao put away the tiger-headed sword. I only saw Su Yang's figure like a cheetah, taking slight steps forward, and in an instant he was in front of the violent King Kong. Roar! When violent King Kong saw someone blocking him, he couldn't help but roared. He also raised his fist and struck in front of Su Yang. Snort! Su Yang snorted coldly. After forcefully catching the opponent's fist with his palm, under the horrified eyes of violent King Kong. PFF'd. A finger pierced his head directly. Violent King Kong fell into a pool of blood with his eyes open. Thank you. After seeing Su Yang take action, the freshman couldn't help but feel grateful. Let's improve our strength. Monsters are not very scary. Su Yang didn't say much, but simply reminded the other party. Thank you, thank you. It wasn't that Su Yang wanted to take action, but that he felt it was impossible not to take action. If it were the freshmen who were talking about him yesterday, maybe Su Yang would have made them suffer a little before taking action. But this boy, Su Yang also felt that he could still be saved. Otherwise, even if Wang Hao takes the lead to help, the other party will probably be injured. Ding! Kill the acquired warrior level monster and obtain lottery points, 10. Su Yang was the first to take action. In this case, can save a lot of things. There are also raffle points to win. No way. At present, for Su Yang, the lottery points are too few. A leapfrog kill is doubled 10 times. If you cross 2 realms and kill, it will be doubled 100 times. But Su Yang is not a real perverted monster. He can transcend 2 realms or even 3 realms. The day after tomorrow warrior level kills at the same level are only 10 points. Innate warrior level kills of the same level also only cost 10 points. But for the monster crystal core, the exchange is not like this. This already made Su Yang feel pretty good. Monster crystal core, and killing monsters. Su Yang also plans to earn more lottery points. But the system has also said it. If Su Yang is promoted above the martial arts foundation, then the lottery points obtained for the monsters killed will change. As for what kind of change it is, the system also didn't tell Su Yang. This made Su Yang feel itchy. Su Yang and other team members are also constantly encountering acquired warrior level monsters. But Su Yang looked plain. If they can't solve it, Su Yang can naturally do it for you. But Su Yang also understood that there were no innate warrior level monsters here. This also caused Su Yang to feel very idle. As time goes by, the originally sunny sky gradually turned into a dark starry sky. Let's take a rest first. Wang Hao also spoke the same way. Then he took out a knife-like prop, like a thin leather knife. Caught an acquired warrior level monster. There was a sting. Slit the other person's throat and then started peeling them off and stuff like that. Wang Hao also looked at the curious eyes of others, and then smiled and explained. Every monster will have valuable things on its body, and the flesh and blood of monsters are also quite good for warriors. While Wang Hao was talking, he began to peel and cramp. Then he took out a bunch of stuff. Su Yang was surprised when he saw it. It was actually some condiments. But it's right to think about it. Come on, let me do it for you today, but for the rest of the time, you just need to do it yourself. Su Yang nodded silently. He is worthy of being a senior martial artist selected by the academy. This teaching ability is completely leveraged. Things like teaching by words and deeds. The same is true. Wang Hao handed a piece of roasted hind leg meat to Su Yang. He smiled and said, "Here, eat." "Thank you, senior." Su Yang took it without politeness, and then started to eat it with big mouthfuls. As for the other freshmen, they are obviously envious. But they are not lacking. What I just envy is that Su Yang is treated like this. Thinking about them, this is simply a sky and an earth. That's how it is in the wild. When we were hunting monsters, we stayed in the forest for 3 months. All the food we brought here has been eaten. Then we eat monster meat and drink monster blood. Wang Hao smiled and took a bite of the monster meat, then shook his head with a smile. You have too little contact now. Wait until you truly come into contact with the truth of the world. You know what despair is. Su Yang looked at the flash of despair in Wang Hao's eyes and his words that were filled with vicissitudes of life. Apparently he is also a senior who has gone through some things. Okay, everyone else, please rest for a while. I will be here to guard you today. After tomorrow, it will be your turn to allocate yourselves. At this time, under the night sky, the entire forest became extremely bright. From time to time the chirping of insects sounded. But under this seemingly peaceful and silent forest, full of countless hidden crises, once you make a mistake, you will be completely doomed. In a corner of the forest, a team was also resting. Only one of them was on alert. This person is Wang Hao, the leader of Su Yang's team. Wang Hao looked up at the sky and looked at the extremely dazzling stars. The corners of his mouth raised slightly with a wry smile. He looked back at the freshmen who were still resting. Except for one Su Yang, there was still roasting monster flesh and blood and eating it slowly. There was no panic at all. Wang Hao naturally knew that Su Yang was very powerful, and he still handled emergency measures well. But when Su Yang is here, other teams were not so lucky. Because Su Yang took away all the free things, the other teams received too few things. I even complained, but the leader had only a few words. You are not as good at discovery as others, so don't blame others for taking so much. If we need to tell you in advance every time, then do you also need us to help you with your cultivation? The leader's role is only to look after you. If there is danger, we will not protect you. All the students were speechless for a moment and didn't say much. As for Wang Yayuan, she was also unlucky. At night, there are quite a few mosquitoes. We don't even know if there are toxins in these mosquitoes. Wang Yayuan couldn't help but laugh and cry when she recalled that Su Yang had taken so many things. This thing can only be done by Su Yang. After all, some people only take a few days of measurement. But Su Yang took so much at once, it was really. I wonder what's going on with Su Yang. Wang Yayuan thought of Su Yang's terrifying physical strength, coupled with his talent after his second awakening. He smiled and shook his head. Why are you worried about him? This guy's strength is more perverted than anyone else. When thinking of this, Wang Yayuan couldn't help but find a place to have a good rest. As time passes slowly, at night, there was also no danger. Su Yang also closed his eyes slightly, opened them instantly, looked around, and then stood up. Be alert. The same was true for Wang Hao, because within the surrounding area, he found an aura that was not inferior to that of humans. Roar, roar, waves of low roars echoed around the team. We're surrounded. Wang Hao also looked around with a cold face, especially the movement around him and the sounds of the trees moving around. It's enough to show that there is more than one monster. Su Yang, this time it's your turn to take action. Su Yang nodded. He didn't refuse this time. Ho ho ho. 3 roars sounded, and 3 Hautian-level monsters appeared in front of Su Yang. White-eyed wolf. Wang Hao also noticed a creature that looked like a wolf, but there was a white light spot in its eyes. When Su Yang saw this scene, he also thought of the other party's information. White-eyed wolf. It is a kind of monster that lives in groups. It is also the kind that is quite united. It is also the kind that is more difficult to deal with. It is very vindictive and cannot let these monsters leave. I'll deal with those two. Su Yang thought for a while and realized that the white-eyed wolf was still easy to deal with. At least it's not an innate level monster. Okay, please pay attention. If you can't hold on, tell me. Su Yang nodded. Then Su Yang also came to the front. Ouch! The white-eyed wolf roared into the sky, and the 2 white-eyed wolves around him surrounded the other members. Snort, Su Yong snorted softly and looked at the white-eyed wolf in front of him with great disdain. Ho 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 ho. The white-eyed wolf kept growling, looking at Su Yong with cold and bloodthirsty eyes, staring at it like this. This scene seems to be like trying to find Su Yang's flaw and then kill him with one blow. The instinct of a beast. Su Yong carries a strong sense of crisis. Quite a smart beast. Su Yong sneered and lamented that the intelligence of these monsters was quite good. But what a pity. Whoosh. Su Yang's steps moved slightly, leaving behind a figure moving forward rapidly. Roar. When the white-eyed wolf saw the prey in front of him, it took the lead to attack. As a monster, it naturally would not let Su Yong attack like this. He was also the first to attack. Diamond Fist. Phew. The white-eyed wolf looked at Su Yong with wide eyes, especially at the bloodstains on Su Yang's fists. I will never die with my eyes in peace. Su Yong also looked at the other party with slight indifference. Then he found another white-eyed wolf again. Roar. When the other white-eyed wolf saw that his companion was dead, he couldn't help but look at Su Yong. Countless stinky saliva dripped from his sharp mouth and fangs. Ouch! After roaring, he rushed towards Su Yong again, as if he was bound to kill Su Yong. Whispering sound. Su Yong really has no idea of taking action against these acquired warrior-level monsters, if it weren't for the assessment. It is estimated that Su Yong would rather fight the innate-level monsters at the demon-slaying platform. Piercing wooden fingers. As a howl sounded, the white-eyed gray wolf also fell into a pool of blood. He also stared at the leaving figure with unblinking eyes. Su Yong sat aside and watched the other freshmen fighting. After all, Su Yang's mission had been completed. Wang Hao roared angrily. Don't waste time, and your movements are too large. Wang Hao was reminding other team members. He also looked at Su Yong with his peripheral vision, and his pupils shrank slightly. Less than a minute, Su Yong thus eliminated 2 acquired warrior-level monsters. Although it's 1 star, but humans are still at a slight disadvantage when fighting monsters. It's really a terrifying new student. Wang Hao laughed and shook his head, but he still took the time to deal with these new battles. When you see someone making a mistake, you immediately accuse them. Su Yong looked at the freshman and also understood that actual combat was not enough, and strength was not enough. Think back to the beginning. Su Yong also fought like this. But after that, Su Yong slowly began to adapt to fighting. Unless you encounter better strength, Su Yong also doesn't choose any unnecessary actions. It's a matter of seconds if you can. After more than 10 minutes, the freshman in the team commanded by Wang Hao also lay on the ground tiredly. There are nervous ones. There are also those who are excited. It's just that I'm more tired. No way. Insufficient strength can only make you so tired. Okay, next time, let's take a good rest and eat something. Wang Hao also smiled and placed the 3 acquired warrior-level monsters in front of the other freshmen. This time, I won't help. The other freshmen also began to slowly get up, looking at each other, and showed no signs of taking the lead in standing up. Let me do it. Su Yong was also thinking about learning the technique of peeling. After all, the things on some monsters are also very valuable. After entering the academy, he will definitely go out hunting. Then redeem some things. This is also the only way for warriors from ordinary forces to obtain training resources. Wang Hao couldn't help but feel embarrassed when he saw that Su Yong actually wanted to do it himself. After all, Su Yang's strength, according to the hunting team Su Yong formed later, must be the captain. Even if you don't want to be the captain, you must still be the main force. Within each squad, it is definitely impossible to let the captain or the main force do these things. But looking at Su Yang's behavior, it's obvious. Good. Wang Hao also nodded. After all, Su Yong has a pretty good personality and is kind to others. Except monsters. Su Yong is really not merciful, he will be killed if he deserves it. There is absolutely no point in showing mercy. If a hunting team were to be formed, few people would be able to form a team with Su Yong because they were too powerful. Maybe I'll hunt alone in the future. Those who hunt alone or powerful monsters, are people who don't want to allocate resources with others. There are also benefits to team hunting. After all, there is not much danger, and the division of labor is quite clear. Su Yong nodded. Then he also took out a small knife and weapon, and recalled Wang Hao's previous actions in his mind. Wang Hao also followed suit and patiently taught Su Yang. Su Yang's behavior surprised Wang Hao. I originally thought I was going to give Su Yang a good lesson, but I found out that I just mentioned a few words casually. Still not painful or itchy. This new student has a strong learning ability. Wang Hao is also very satisfied with Su Yang's movements and his attitude of learning it as soon as he learns it. Pity. Wang Hao shook his head regretfully. It would be great if Su Yang became a member of his team in the future. But this is just Wang Hao's thought. Su Yang's strength. As long as you pass the assessment, you will definitely receive better training resources. This is the benefit of strong talent. Su Yang also breathed out a sigh of relief. What I didn't expect was that it would be quite troublesome to deal with the flesh and blood of these monsters. Good. Wang Hao also nodded with satisfaction. Although the technique was a bit rusty, I didn't make any big mistakes. Su Yang also smiled calmly and nodded. Just cooking. Su Yang did not choose to cook, but let others do it. Everyone's division of labor is different. Because Su Yang still needs to ask Wang Hao about something else. Senior, Junior, why don't you call me Wang Hao, even a mouse? Wang Hao always felt that he was not worthy of being Su Yang's senior, so he chose to let Su Yang call him Wang Hao. Senior is joking. Su Yang shook his head. I don't intend to ask for a full name or anything like that, or a nickname. Unless you are at the same level as Su Yang will almost always be called by his full name. Usually, you call your classmates. As you wish. Wang Hao knew Su Yang's character and also had a high opinion of Su Yang. Senior, can you tell me what is the most valuable thing about these monsters? You ask this because you plan to. Wang Hao couldn't help but look at Su Yang strangely. I secretly guessed that Su Yang might go solo in the future. Well, there's no other way. I'm just a warrior from an ordinary force. Although I'm very talented, I still have to fight for some resources for myself, right? Su Yang did not deny anything. After all, Su Yang doesn't have to hide this matter. Okay, let me tell you. Wang Hao also started to talk about something about hunting. He even taught Su Yang all the things in the wild, including the best parts of the monster at each stage. Su Yang listened very carefully. I also took a notebook and wrote it down. All morning long, Su Yang was like a curious baby, constantly asking Wang Hao about relevant matters. Wang Hao also began to explain Su Yang one by one. It's just the situation in this scene. Lu Qingyu also noticed it. This kid is really. Lu Qingyu laughed and scolded. Su Yang's character is still very good. At least I can keep learning. It's a pity. From now on, there will be nothing that can threaten Su Yang. Lu Qingyu knew that Su Yang was very powerful. Obviously, these acquired warrior-level monsters could not threaten Su Yang either. He is really a little monster. Lu Qingyu pursed her red lips and smiled, and then thought of a plan in her mind. How about adding a little fun to Su Yang? Lu Qingyu didn't know where Su Yang's limit was. But I thought of this guy Yang Jian. Yang Jian and Su Yang also met at the demon-slaying platform. Lu Qingyu also knew that the relationship between the two was quite good. At least, I heard that the two of them were talking and laughing. In that case, let's ask that guy Yang Jian. Hello. Yang Jian, who was far away in the academy, was planning to understand the realm of martial arts foundation building and was about to try it. I also heard the sound of my cell phone. Xiao Yang. Snap. After Yang Jian heard this, his phone immediately dropped to the ground in fright. Hello, Xiao Yang, can't you hear me? Yang Jian came to his senses again and immediately took the phone to respond to the other party. You can hear me, I can hear you, senior sister. Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me. I was thinking of going over and asking you if the signal there was not good. Senior sister, the signal here is absolutely good, it couldn't be better. Yang Jian immediately denied it, recalling the deeds of this witch in his mind. In an instant, Yang Jian suddenly shuddered. Well, that's good to hear. Do you know Su Yang? I know you, I know my senior sister. Yang Jian became suspicious, wondering why Lu Qingyu asked about Su Yang's deeds. Do you know how strong Su Yang's peak strength is? I don't know about this either. Su Yang has very few battles. They are all battles with monsters of the same realm, but there are also a few battles with innate level monsters. When Lu Qingyu heard this, her apricot eyes were filled with surprise. It turns into excitement, murmured. This kid really hides his secrets very well. Ah, senior sister, what are you talking about? Nothing, it's none of your business. Lu Qingyu was also ready to hang up the phone and kept thinking. Then he told Yang Jian, tell the demon-slaying platform and ask them to prepare an innate level monster for me, but it needs to be 1 star. Yes, senior. Yang Jian thought that this innate warrior level monster must also be preparing for Su Yang. Tisk, Su Yang, you can only wish for yourself. Yang Jian couldn't help but feel a big headache when he thought of Lu Qingyu's witch's dark underbelly. Ah, cut. Su Yang couldn't help but sneeze and rubbed her nose. What's weird in my heart is anyone thinking about themselves? Su Yang immediately shook his head. Whoever misses him must be scolding him. But think about it. Su Yang didn't think about anyone he had offended. If it offends someone, Su Yang looked at the new students and did not help. It's not like I'm cursing myself. And although the eyes of several people looking at Su Yang were a little evasive, they were obviously a little embarrassed. But I saw a few people talking and laughing. Su Yang didn't think that these people would scold him behind his back. Classmate Su Yang, here. A new student also handed a piece of food to Su Yang. After Su Yang saw the visitor, he found out that he was the new student saved yesterday. Thanks. After Su Yang thanked him, he also brought the food over. The freshman also turned around and left excitedly. Su Yang, no, I just eat one thing, why are you excited? In fact, what Su Yang didn't know was that Su Yang's small rescue action seemed like a life-saving grace to the other party. But if Su Yang knew the other person's inner thoughts, he couldn't help but smile. It's not a deep hatred. In addition, we are all human beings, so we can save them if we can. This is just Su Yang's idea. After all, humans are not monsters. But if someone really offends Su Yang, he will probably have to think carefully about it. Su Yang is also not a fool. Just because you have a good personality doesn't mean you'll let others bully you. I respect you because you are a senior. If he pokes fun at his nose, Su Yang won't pay attention to him. Just like when I met Yang Jian before. Su Yang also felt the Tsunere attribute in Yang Jian. After all, although Yang Jian is a bit cold and arrogant, he still cares about other junior students. If Yang Jian was that unruly at the beginning, everyone would be unhappy. Su Yang will not have more communication with Yang Jian. Without Su Yang knowing, Lu Qingyu brought 2 innate warrior level monsters from the academy. After all, this is also prepared for Su Yang. But in order to prevent unexpected situations, Lu Qingyu deliberately sent 2 innate warrior level warriors. Protect other freshmen along the way. It is also necessary to lead these 2 innate warrior level monsters in the direction of Su Yang. But it's also a case of coming one by one. If something goes wrong with Su Yang, Lu Qingyu won't even have time to cry. You brat, I know you're bored, so I've prepared a big gift for you. Lu Qingyu showed 2 small tiger teeth like a little devil. But Su Yang, who was in the forest, felt a chill on his back, as if someone was plotting against him. Su Yang didn't think much about it. Just following Wang Hao in the forest looking for monsters to fight. Also on the way, I met other team members. But the look he looked at Su Yang was slightly unkind. But there is no way. The main reason was that Su Yang was stronger than them, and it was also their own fault for not searching the base. Su Yang also touched his nose subconsciously. No intention of feeling guilty at all. Just when Su Yang is resting. The 2 figures also kept galloping through the jungle. Hurry up, senior sister said, lure this beast over before dark. Okay, I get it. The 2 also communicated quickly, also avoiding other teams. Because Lu Qingyu also sent a message to the leader of the freshman team. That is, those who are still fighting should fight as soon as possible. There was no fighting, everyone was resting in place. Although I didn't know what was going to happen, I did it anyway. After all, Lu Qingyu's name and character have long been spread among the old students. Who dares to offend this little witch? I can't think about it. Okay, let's rest where we are for a while. Wang Hao also received the signal, and then began to instruct other freshmen to rest where they were. Just when Wang Hao was resting, another team also approached Wang Hao's team. Even the distance is quite far. The two freshman teams sat there and rested tacitly, without disturbing each other. Look at how many girls there are in that team. That's right, I'm so envious. Wang Hao couldn't help but laugh and shook his head when he heard the words of the new student in the team. New student. At this young age, he naturally cares about beautiful girls. The same is true for Wang Hao as a man. After hearing the news, Wang Hao couldn't help but glance at the other team. It's just a way of admiring it. Junior Su Yang, don't you go and take a look. Su Yang was silent for a moment, then shook his head. Men cannot indulge in female gender. If you can. Su Yang still thought it would be best to try to get some lottery points. The best way is, kill monsters. Swish swish. Su Yang stood up immediately and said something coldly in Wang Hao's surprised eyes. There is an innate warrior level monster. What, Su Yang, do you feel something is wrong? Su Yang is very familiar with monster aura. Wang Hao also looked at Su Yang in shock, wondering how Su Yang knew that there was an innate warrior level monster. Then messages appeared on Wang Hao's and other team leaders' mobile phones. When Wang Hao saw the news, his pupils shrank. Finally, he looked at Su Yang in shock. I was shocked. Roar. A roar sounded, frightening all the birds and beasts in the forest. Bang bang bang. A huge sound came. After feeling the powerful momentum, Su Yang also became excited. Finally saw the innate warrior level monster again. Senior, let me do it this time. I want to challenge this monster alone. Wang Hao nodded dumbfounded. In fact, what Wang Hao wants to say is that this monster is prepared for you. Then, Su Yang, you'd better be careful. If something happens, tell us in advance and we will help you. Then Wang Hao also took the other freshman members and walked in another direction. There was only one other freshman squad, also standing in place. Whizzing. At this moment, two innate warrior level warriors also appeared. I've met two seniors. After Wang Hao saw the visitor, he immediately greeted him respectfully. Don't worry about me, what are you supposed to do? The two of them waved their hands, not caring about anything else, but looking at the scene in front of them indifferently. It's like the venue appears at this moment. In a central location. Su Yang also has an innate warrior level monster. Roar. Su Yang also heard a roar, and also noticed the other party's full appearance. It looks like an ape and is 3 meters tall. It looks like a sharp-mouthed monkey with a green face and fangs. Like a ferocious beast, the hair on its body is also blood red. Full of bloodlust, it turns out to be a green-faced blood monkey. Su Yang couldn't help but reveal a sinister smile on his lips. He stretched out his hand in a rare provocation. A gesture. Come here. Roar. When the green-faced blood monkey saw that the human in front of him was actually provoking it like this, he became extremely furious. Ooh-ah. Yelling angrily, he took steps towards Su Yang. Snort. Su Yang's steps flashed out, and he rushed towards the green-faced blood monkey in front of him. Ooh-ah. The green-faced blood monkey also flicked its tail flexibly. Bang. Su Yang did not dodge when he saw this, but blocked it with both hands in front of him, and withstood the blow. I saw Su Yang's figure flying out as well. It hit the surrounding tree trunks. Cough cough cough. Su Yang wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and couldn't help but become excited. Because of that moment just now, Su Yang could vaguely detect the 5-yuan dragon elephant body strengthening method, which showed signs of a breakthrough. Ha ha ha, come again. Su Yang was like a madman, laughing and rushing towards the green-faced blood monkey again. Ooh-ah. The green-faced blood monkey couldn't help but become even more angry when he saw Su Yang's appearance. He planned to kill the human being in front of him. Su Yang's physical strength is still a bit different from that of an innate warrior-level monster. Otherwise, he would be slapped away by the green-faced blood monkey just by looking at him. Ooh, one person and one monkey. The same fight is going on here. As for Wang Hao who was watching the show, there were other freshmen. They all looked at this scene in stunned silence. The two innate warrior-level seniors also stared at this scene in surprise. What do you see? Me. I saw a forged lunatic, a hard steel monster. What a coincidence, so am I. The two seniors at the innate warrior level couldn't help but feel that the Su Yang in front of them was really a monster. Let's continue and take a look. We can't let senior sister make any mistakes, otherwise we won't be able to survive. although Su Yang didn't seem to have any major injuries. But the two of them still need to pay attention. Otherwise, something goes wrong with Su Yang, and the two of them can't escape their relationship. Is Su Yang actually so strong? Yes, an innate warrior level monster. Here, I thought about surpassing Su Yang, but how could I surpass him? Wow, is this Su Yang who is the first to realize spiritual energy? So strong. I wonder if he has a girlfriend. It is simply a fantasy to have acquired warrior level strength and fight against an innate warrior level monster. But have you noticed that Su Yang's physical strength seems to be terrifying? I don't know in that aspect. You're such a prodigal, are you ashamed? But isn't this Su Yang also exercising? Possible. In contrast, the girls in Wang Hao's team and the other team watched Su Yang fight with gleaming eyes. This guy's strength is too strong. Wang Yayuan is also in this freshman team. But it's a pity, Su Yang has not paid attention to this team. Wang Yayuan noticed Su Yang's existence from the beginning. But it seems that this innate warrior level monster is probably preparing for Su Yang. Wang Yayuan couldn't help but chuckle when she heard her master's words. For Su Yang's great strength, Wang Yayuan felt quite understandable. After all, Su Yang has the strength. Although Su Yang is a bit powerful, he has to reveal his trump card. Ooh, the green-faced blood monkey also roared angrily, scratching its ears and cheeks anxiously. Because Su Yang is just like Xiao Chang who can't be beaten to death. Constantly fighting with the green-faced blood monkey. It's just that Su Yang has always been the one who gets beaten passively. Why didn't Su Yang fight back? That's because Su Yang has also tried other ways to build strength. But the effect is really not as good as beating these monsters. As long as Su Yang discovers a monster that can increase his physical strength, Su Yang will definitely squeeze the other person dry. Ha 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 ha. Su Yang also laughed loudly and did not avoid the green-faced blood monkey's fist at all. Time passed little by little, and the people watching the theater around were also numb. What I never expected was that Su Yang's terrifying strength was actually a physical strength competition with the innate warrior level monster in front of him. The same goes for Lu Qingyu, who is watching in the base. At this moment, Lu Qingyu's beautiful eyes widened as she watched the interface video appear in front of her. Isn't this kid's physical strength a little too abnormal? When Lu Qingyu thought of this, she couldn't help crying or laughing. Maybe this kid has a way to increase his physical strength. Lu Qingyu was just skeptical. After a long period of torture, Su Yang looked very embarrassed all over. But the excited smile hanging on the corner of his mouth further showed that Su Yang was very happy. The kind of happiness that comes from finding ways to improve your strength. Looking at the green-faced blood monkey, although there didn't seem to be any signs of injury. However, the green-faced blood monkey's strength and speed are constantly declining. This is also a flaw in overdrafting your physical strength. No way, isn't it possible? Su Yang frowned as he looked at the weak attack. Because for Su Yang now, Su Yang is not done yet. But after thinking about it, my physical strength has improved a bit. Forget it, let's get rid of you. Su Yang couldn't help but take out a boxing glove and collided with each other. If it is an acquired warrior level monster, Su Yang does not need weapons. But an innate warrior level monster, Su Yang still had to respect the other party. Have you made a move? When seeing this scene, many people murmured to themselves. Diamond Fist, the perfect five-element master. Su Yang didn't hide anything and rushed directly towards the green-faced blood monkey. Under the influence of the perfect level, Su Yang also activated his spiritual energy to perform martial arts. A strong metallic aura gathered on Su Yang's fist, exuding a strong aura. Metallic aura also appeared behind him, forming the shape of an unknown creature. This is exactly the aura that only appears at the perfect level. Bang! A huge sound came, and the ground shook with waves of air. It's really strong. The theatergoers also noticed Su Yang's punch. The green-faced blood monkey's head completely disappeared. Su Yang slowly stood on the spot, like the shadow of a martial god. Then he put away his gloves. He also shook his head in disappointment. This kid is still disappointed, right? Lu Qingyu saw Su Yang's situation through surveillance and couldn't help but smile. But I also know Su Yang's true strength. I am also more excited about Su Yang's future. I hope this kid can grow up. Lu Qingyu understands Su Yang's terrifying strength. In the eyes of humans, it is natural to hope that the stronger the better. But for a certain race, Su Yang's great strength, then it will definitely bring them a huge threat. Su Yang, you are really strong. Wang Hao also came over with the freshman team and couldn't help but give a thumbs up. So, Su Yang couldn't help but smile. For Su Yang, who is a 1-star innate warrior level monster, he has no plans to go all out. It slightly raised Su Yang's interest in fighting. Junior, modesty is the greatest pretense. Another freshman team leader also laughed. Then let's rest here for a while. Wang Hao also said to the other team leader. The other party also agreed. It's just that most of the other freshmen are girls. This also makes the rest very cheerful. As for Su Yang, he watched this scene calmly. Su Yang, long time no see. Su Yang couldn't help but hear a familiar voice, and when she looked back, she found it was Wang Yayuan. It's you, long time no see, Yaya. Su Yang also smiled flatly. Wang Yayuan has an ordinary appearance on the surface, and after the past few days of fighting, she is also a little dirty, so she is indeed a bit bad. But Su Yang doesn't have any discriminatory effect either. In Su Yang's view, no matter what the other party looks like, it has nothing to do with him. Only by improving one's strength can one become the pinnacle of martial arts. It is a major goal in life. Wang Yayuan also sat next to Su Yang unceremoniously. Following Su Yang's gaze, I found that Su Yang was just looking at a barbecue rack. Are you hungry? It's okay, I'm not too hungry. Su Yang shook his head. Although he had just fought, he really didn't look hungry. However, Wang Yayuan went alone to pick up the monster flesh and blood that had just been roasted and walked towards Su Yang. Give, thanks. Su Yang thought for a while and took it over politely. I'll be back in a few days. Su Yang, what are your plans? Wang Yayuan also learned a lot through chatting. After all, they are not considered freshmen after the assessment. Instead, he is in a state of old life. Let's talk about it then. After all, no one knows the future. Su Yang didn't know Wang Yayuan's specific thoughts, but she still seemed a bit casual. After all, it's about the future. Who could have predicted it? All right, Wang Yayuan also plans to form a new force after returning. It is also to prevent being bullied by old students and to unite. It was because of Su Yang's own strength that the old students and students were more restrained. But the real moment, Su Yang also didn't know how cruel the competition among old students was. But Su Yang is not afraid of anything. The two of them just sat there, neither saying anything more. After all, Su Yang didn't know what Wang Yayuan wanted to express. I plan to go back. Form a team, or what? Invite him to become the team leader. But Su Yang just thought so and didn't take any action. Time also passes slowly, and Su Yang did not continue to hold on tonight. After all, they just fought. Su Yang also plans to take a rest. After running the 5 elements Kaiyuanju, he began to recover from his minor injuries. Girl, Su Yang probably hasn't seen what you look like, otherwise he would definitely follow you. Master, do you think Su Yang will agree? Wang Yayuan couldn't help but smile as she looked at Su Yang, who was recovering from her injuries through practice. For Su Yang's character, Wang Yayuan also knows something about it. He is really a lunatic who works hard to improve his strength. But maybe, Su Yang just doesn't want to be bound by any force. Wang Yayuan thought of the position of deputy monitor in the previous class. If Su Yang really cares about rights, it is estimated that they will tell Lu Qingyu in advance, and they will even snatch Wang Yayuan's position as deputy squad leader. A person who works hard for strength. To be honest, Wang Yayuan is really a little curious about Su Yang. What kind of experience can make Su Yang so dedicated to improving his strength? The next day time, Wang Yayuan's team also separated from Su Yang's team. As for this moment, Su Yang didn't pay much attention to Wang Yayuan. Just thinking about one thing in my heart. That is after entering the inner courtyard. Do you want to go out to other secret realms or other monster lairs to hunt for something? Let's go. Stop looking, your eyes will fall off if you look at it again. Wang Hao couldn't help but laugh and curse when he saw the other freshmen's reluctant expressions. After all, girls are quite popular everywhere. But Wang Hao also looked at Su Yang as if it was very ordinary, like it was just an insignificant parting. There is no reluctance or even mood swings. As for Su Yang, this scene will happen sooner or later. Let's go, Junior, Wang Hao also said to Su Yang. Su Yang nodded, and then started walking in the other direction. The hunting time also gradually passed. As for the second innate warrior level monster arranged by Lu Qingyu, also in Su Yang's eyes, he is also an experienced baby. After being squeezed dry, Su Yang also punched the opponent in the head. Lu Qingyu also knows Su Yang's true strength. Of course, this is only what is found on the surface. Su Yang can fight against innate warrior level monsters, and the kind that can kill them. But if you go up, you need to expose your martial arts and so on. But generally speaking, Su Yang always fights the monsters hand to hand in advance, using only her physical strength and strength to fight. It will only be exposed when fighting beyond the level. Wang Hao, who was leading the freshman team in the forest, also took a look at the time. Okay, everyone come back with me, the time is up. Wang Hao also spoke. All the freshmen also started to pack their things. As for Su Yang, he slowly stood up and shook the dirt off his clothes. Wang Hao led the freshmen towards the base. As the distance gets closer, a steel city appeared in Su Yang's eyes again. The remaining freshmen were also extremely excited. Finally saw the familiar base. 7 days. It still makes them feel very tired, unable to eat well, and unable to sleep well. He. Wang Hao looked at the appearance of these new students and couldn't help but smile and shook his head. I thought to myself, where is this? In the future, this kind of thing will happen from time to time. Junior, then, the green mountains will not change and the green water will always flow. We will meet again in the future. Wang Hao quite recognized Su Yang's strength. After all, he is a powerful junior, which makes Wang Hao more proud to say it. Senior, see you later. Su Yang also smiled calmly. There is no never-ending feast. Su Yang looked attentive and waved goodbye to Wang Hao. This time they also need to re-enter the base. Chapter 51. Everyone, hurry up. Su Yang also heard Lu Qingyu's indifferent words and couldn't help but smile. It was also the next day. The other freshmen also rested in the base overnight before boarding the spaceship to go back the next day. As for Su Yang, she looked calmly out of the spacecraft window. I also saw the acquired warrior-level monsters being taken away one after another. Obviously this place is only used for simple assessment. As the base becomes smaller and smaller, Su Yang also closed his eyes slightly, waiting for the hovercraft to go to the academy. But the new students are also a little anxious. Do you think we can pass the assessment this time? Yeah, I feel like my results this time are not that good. Oh, it's so difficult. It's a pity, but do you think Su Yang can pass the assessment? Aren't you kidding? I heard that Su Yang can harden innate warrior level monsters. What the hell are you talking about? Innate warrior level monsters, didn't you say there are only acquired warrior level monsters? How can there be innate warrior level monsters? How do I know? I heard about it too. Take what you heard seriously. As time passes slowly, Su Yang only felt his body startled slightly, a little bit like he was falling. Reached. Su Yang opened his eyes again, and then looked in the direction of the college. But this time, the place to stay will not be in the freshman area, but to another place, belonging to a college where old students are. PFF. The ship's hatch opens. Freshmen, ah no, they should be considered old students now. All the old students who had passed the assessment got off the spaceship one after another. The same is true for Su Yang. Stand like your previous class and wait here for an hour. Lu Qingyu glanced at Su Yang with her beautiful eyes, and then looked at the other freshmen who had passed the assessment. But Lu Qingyu asked them to stay where they were. There are also many old students passing by here from time to time. He couldn't help but have a look of understanding. Su Yang was also waiting boredly. After all, Lu Qingyu also said that everyone's performance needs a comprehensive test. Pass the monitoring assessment and the team leader's rating. Taken together, to get the final score. Because there were so many people, it also took an hour. Hey, are those the freshmen? Their strength isn't that good either. They're not as strong as our last class. An abrupt old student couldn't help but joked. Su Yang couldn't help but look around, and found that the other party was 3 old students who were at the peak of acquired martial arts. Hey, there is actually a 1-star acquired warrior level. Not bad, not bad. It's finally worth watching. Su Yang couldn't help frowning after hearing this. He looked at the other person calmly. Then he said, Senior, I wonder how far your strength has improved after the assessment. Hey, boy, why are you talking to my brother Li? Li Hong also stopped his companion and looked at Su Yang with a smile. Boy, I don't know who you are, but if you dare to talk to me like this, have you forgotten that you are still freshmen? Su Yang glanced at the other party, obviously looking for presents. He also shook his head in disappointment. The old students Su Yang met obviously knew about Su Yang's terrifying strength. Naturally, everyone will be greeted with a smile. Not long after, a few more old students came. Li Hong is bullying the freshmen again, right? Really, he is a borer in the academy. Who said that? I heard that Yang Jian from the previous class was also taught a lesson, but Yang Jian's strength improved very quickly. A year later, he beat this guy so hard that he couldn't get out of bed for half a year. After hearing this, Li Hong's face turned red. As if his secrets were exposed, he roared immediately. You guys, don't be here if you have nothing to do. It's none of your business, Li Hong. Do you think we are the same as you? We lost to others in the competition yesterday, and today we are looking for a sense of existence with the freshmen. That's right, we are all acquired warriors. Do you think we are afraid of you? Li Hong was furious. Originally, he was competing with others yesterday, but he was taught a lesson. I thought I would find trouble with the freshmen today to restore my self-confidence, but now some old students have exposed the truth. Juniors, don't bother with this idiot. He's already notorious among the seniors. Li Hong clenched his fists, veins popping out, and he looked like he was going to fight. But the next second, Li Hong also heard a piece of news. By the way, which freshman among you is called Su Yang? As soon as this was said, all the freshmen looked at Su Yang. Su Yang also frowned, not knowing what the other party wanted to talk to him about. Senior, I'm Su Yang. Are you? The other party looked at Su Yang's strength, and he also only had the strength of a 1-star acquired warrior. Although he only had the strength of an acquired warrior. But compared with this group of freshmen who had just finished the assessment, that was a tall man among the short men. Are you Su Yang? Li Hong had also heard of Su Yang's name among the seniors. A freshman madman who forged his body. With the strength of a quasi-warrior, he tore apart an acquired warrior monster with his bare hands. Just when Li Hong was still thinking about what to say, he saw a figure that frightened him, and he immediately stopped talking. Then he laughed. Hee, it turns out to be Su Yang. See you next time, see you next time. Go, that crazy woman is coming. Li Hong said quietly to his companions. And immediately left with his people. Su Yang also saw Lu Qingyu coming here, and knew that these old students might be afraid of Lu Qingyu. After all, the few old students who helped the freshmen out at the beginning also looked nervous after seeing Lu Qingyu. Hello, senior sister. What are you doing here? Leave if you have nothing to do. Lu Qingyu waved her hand in disdain. For these warriors who are only at the peak of the acquired warrior level. Lu Qingyu could only shake his head in disappointment. Some old students have exceeded the requirements of the college, but they will still stay in the college. Of course, they are just for some training resources. Okay, your results are out. Then Lu Qingyu also began to announce everyone's results. The senior students in the academy are also divided into several levels. Of course, it is the same for you. But there are still some rules for distribution. You will also be allocated some student points according to your grades. The first category, Genius. The second category, Elite. The third category, Ordinary. There are 3 categories in total. And among these categories, you will also be divided into ordinary categories. If you want to be promoted, you need to work hard on your own. Now I will also tell you the rules of the academy. Lu Qingyu also began to speak out about the cruel rules within the academy. The new students should not be exposed to these things at first. It is also to prevent the new students from being under great inner pressure, resulting in their inability to sense spiritual energy and become quasi-warriors. Only those who have gone through the freshman assessment, participated in battles with monsters. Having experienced the desperate moment of life and death, the freshmen who have completed the examination will know the cruelty inside the college. 1. In the academy, you can choose any elder to listen to the class and learn from the experience imparted by the elders. 2. No one in the academy can help you. If you encounter what just happened, it's up to you to make your own decision. 3. Academy points are also required for transactions in the academy. 4. The rules for new students are also lifted. You can exchange points for monster crystal cores to increase your strength. 5. This is the most important. If you want to improve your rank, for example, to the second category, Elite, you just need to challenge. As for how to challenge, there is all the information on it. Then Lu Qingyu took out a small notebook. It records some basic matters within the college. Now I read the name. It's the one who passed the assessment. General category, Wang Yayuan. Normal category, Lin Fei. Normal category, Li He. Ordinary category. Lu Qingyu also kept chanting the names of the new students who had finished the assessment. It's just that the new students who didn't read their names couldn't help but become a little anxious. But I was also curious when I saw that Su Yang was not mentioned. Don't know what happened. Wang Yayuan is also curious as to why it has become like this. Su Yang's strength shouldn't pass the test, right? Wang Yayuan was puzzled. Could it be that something happened in the next few days? But Wang Yayuan didn't know the specific matter, and she didn't speak first. But the next second is Elite category, Su Yang. What? All the freshmen looked at the plain Su Yang and were even more shocked. Never thought of it. Su Yang was just an ordinary freshman, but after the assessment, he was directly classified into the elite category. As for those who haven't heard of their names, they can either become field staff and then slowly advance up the ranks. Either you leave the academy and become ordinary people or ordinary hunting warriors in the outside world. The freshman who didn't read his name couldn't help but fell silent. No way. Some freshmen simply cannot restrain their fear of monsters. Among them, Su Yang also noticed an acquaintance. It was the new student that Su Yang had saved before. As for what to call it, Su Yang seems to have forgotten it too. Choice, give you your own choice. If you are willing to stay in the academy, follow me. If not, there is the gate over there. Someone at the gate will take you back. As for you, come and get something. Lu Qingyu began to distribute some things. They also upgrade all their student cards. After all, the new student card still cannot do some other things. Su Yang also handed the things to Lu Qingyu. Work hard and don't let me down. Lu Qingyu smiled lightly. Su Yang nodded. Your strength improves quickly, but you must also lay a solid foundation and don't overthrow the growth. Su Yang also took what Lu Qingyu handed over, thanked him, and left. Junior, come with me. Lu Qingyu also brought an old student and planned to take Su Yang to the elite area. You brat, you're going to be in big trouble next time. Lu Qingyu didn't know why her grandfather suddenly improved Su Yang's treatment. Any freshman, no matter if they are at the level of a congenital warrior or at the level of a congenital warrior, as long as they have just passed the assessment, they must be ordinary. There has never been a precedent for elites. The treatment of elites is much better than that of ordinary. Lu Qingyu also smiled and shook her head, and then left with other freshmen. Senior, where are we going? Take you to the dormitory. Lu Qingyu couldn't help but smile slyly. After all, I will accompany you for a long time. Of course, as long as Su Yang is promoted to the level of a congenital warrior, or builds a martial arts foundation, I will be liberated. When Lu Qingyu thought of this, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Along the way, Su Yang was looking at the small notebook Lu Qingyu gave him. Although it is a small notebook, but there are only 5 or 6 pages of recorded information. It probably talks about the 3 differences between genius, elite, and ordinary. There are also some introductions to things in the academy, and a small map. This map, well, it looks familiar. Isn't this what Su Yang got before? Junior, your residence is here. Su Yang was also interrupted by a sudden sound. Thank you, Senior. Junior, you're welcome. I just hope you don't feel troubled in the future. Su Yang knew what the other party wanted to say. Then he smiled bitterly. Because a freshman, who had just passed the freshman assessment, was directly planned to the elite category. This naturally made some old students feel a little uncomfortable. Be careful, junior, it's best to retreat for a month to improve your strength. The limelight will soon pass. Thank you, senior. Su-young also thanked the other party for his kindness. Then he walked towards the so-called elite residence. But on the way, many seniors looked Su-young up and down, and found that Su-young was nothing special, and didn't say much. Alas, Su-young was speechless. Then he found his room. Click, the door opened, and Su-young walked in. Elite students all have their own room. And ordinary students need to live in a collective dormitory. As for the genius class, each person gets a big villa. As a freshman, Su-young has the treatment of an elite class. For the old students who are still in the ordinary class, this is definitely unacceptable. The promotion rules in the academy are also very simple. That is to challenge. Ordinary students want to be promoted to elite students. That is to challenge the elite area. The premise is that you need to challenge 100 ordinary students in the ordinary class before you can challenge elite students. Only in this way can you be promoted to elite students. And the defeated elite student will be downgraded to the ordinary class. That's why Lu Qingyu said that Su-young will be in trouble in the future. And the senior is the same. It seems that I have become a delicious bun. Su-young laughed and cried. But the next second, Su-yang's heart was filled with a strong fanaticism and excitement of fighting. Lu Qingyu saw Su-yang's appearance here and must have secretly complained. This is a madman who likes fighting. Forget it, leave him alone. Su-young shook his head, and then looked at the whole room. Looking at the style of the whole room. Not bad. All kinds of things are very complete. Su-young also came to a table and found a card on it. The information on the card is naturally Su-yang's information. These information all symbolize Su-yang's elite student status. However, Su-young seems to have the same student card. But Su-young also saw an account and a password. Entered it on the college network. Welcome to the elite hidden attic. Su-young looked at the virtual projection information in front of him, and then began to look through it. It was found that it was simply a treasure house. There are many things in it. There are also monster crystal cores. After Su-young searched roughly, he shook his head helplessly. I thought I could encounter something thunder-related. But in the end, Su-young did not find anything that could help him. Forget it, but according to the current situation, I still need to work hard to improve my strength. Through the elite hidden attic, Su-young saw a lot of techniques, martial arts, etc. There are even techniques that surpass ordinary techniques. But at present, Su-young does not have that much energy to practice. 4 techniques, and 4 martial arts, plus 2 sets of bodybuilding methods. No matter how much energy Su-young has, it can't withstand Su-yang's consumption. Unless Su-young can split himself or something like that. Otherwise, Su-young smiled bitterly. Then he opened the small notebook and planned to get some points. Next, it's time to go to other places and hunt monsters. Su-young also noticed the most critical news in the academy. That is the hunting hall. Take some hunting tasks or some other tasks in the hunting hall. After completing the task, you will get some academy points. You can also go out to hunt monsters and increase your combat experience. Then go to the hunting hall to have a look. Su-young also planned to go to the hunting hall. It was just on the way. Those old students looked at Su-young, and this look made Su-young feel creepy and weird. After Su-young left, many senior students also logged into the college network. Came to the college forum. Ha ha ha, guess who I saw? Below is a picture of Su-young. Which elite freshman is it? What is the freshman doing? It looks like the direction is the hunting hall. No way, he just became an elite student and started hunting monsters. I don't know what the college is thinking, they actually let a freshman become an elite student. Now there will be a good show to watch. Let's see if the ordinary seniors will be so excited that they want to jump up. By the way, I heard that Yang Jian seems to be very familiar with this freshman. You don't understand, the freshman is also very strong. I have seen with my own eyes that the freshman tore up a postnatal warrior level monster. This is just what you said, we didn't see it with our own eyes. Besides, even if this freshman is very strong, how strong can he be? That's right, Anyway, I am planning to challenge other ordinary students, and then I will find this freshman to challenge. If you don't believe it, just pretend I didn't say it, don't get slapped in the face later. Obviously, human nature is like this. What others say is always what they say. Some things also have to be seen with one's own eyes. Or maybe they subconsciously don't believe this thing in their hearts. Because they also need to find an excuse. Find an excuse to challenge Soo-young. Is this the hunting hall? Soo-young looked at the hunting hall that was countless times more magnificent in front of him, and his eyes also noticed the 3 words, hunting hall. This seems to be the intention of the sword. When the old student guarding the hunting hall saw Soo-young, he stared directly at the 3 words, hunting hall. I couldn't help but be surprised when I found that nothing strange happened. New student, can he still use a knife? Soo-young only watched it for a short while, but 30 minutes passed. In the end, Soo-young also smiled and did not watch. Hello, senior. Well, that's right. These things in the college are all left behind by previous generations of seniors. The purpose is to let us fully understand the things inside. If you can avoid being backlashed by the sword's intention, you are obviously a sword practitioner. Soo-young couldn't help but smile when he heard this and didn't say much. Go in. Soo-young also entered the hunting hall. As for why he didn't admit it, in Soo-young's opinion, there was absolutely no need. But I also felt curious in my heart. Logically speaking, the college shouldn't be considered a third-rate college. The sword intention inside it. According to Soo-young's current basic knife skills, he still can't comprehend it. If I hadn't clearly sensed the majestic sword meaning in those 3 words, I would have thought they were fake. Think of this. Soo-young was certain of one thing. That means you have to go to advanced or intermediate swordsmanship. Alas, there is still a gap. Soo-young shook his head helplessly. Soo-young thinks that his strength is not very strong. Because of talent. In addition to the thunder-type talents, there are also 5 element talents. There are other swordsmanship talents, as well as those with elementary swordsmanship talents. Soo-young really doesn't have any outstanding talent. In addition, lightning talent is also relatively rare. As a result, Soo-young is still unable to practice the thunder god bodybuilding method. Still poor. If Soo-young had those monster crystal cores, why would he need so much trouble? Hello, is there anything I need to do? A sweet and waxy voice came to Soo-young's ears. Soo-young looked at the woman in front of him and couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Strange. Are there all pretty girls at this front desk? All I saw was that the other party looked sweet, seemed extremely well behaved, and even had a sense of tenderness like Xiaojiabiu. Oval face, a bit quiet. Coupled with the school uniforms and clothes of the college, it even has the youthful feeling of a campus girl. Hello, senpai. Soo-young also nodded lightly, not paying too much attention to the other person's appearance. Although the other party is very beautiful, well, indeed very beautiful. But Soo-young is not someone who sees her sister unable to walk. Senior sister. After hearing Soo-young's words, the other party's face immediately turned red. He waved his hands quickly. No, I'm not a senior, I'm just a field worker. Senior is beyond my ability. Not a senior. Soo-young felt the opponent's strength. He discovered that the other party was only a quasi-warrior with peak strength. Think about it. He should be the kind of warrior who doesn't like fighting. It's okay, senior, why don't you introduce the rules of the hunting hall to me? Soo-young simply ignored the local proposal. Just start asking about the rules of the hunting hall. Ah, good. Li Wenwen looked at Soo-young's plain smile, and then understood that Soo-young might be a new student. I plan to introduce it to Soo-young. Soo-young was also there listening carefully to Li Wenwen's introduction of some relevant matters. But, learn, junior. Where is your hunting team? Li Wenwen looked at Soo-young and was finally willing to call Soo-young his junior. After all, Soo-young never said his name. It's safer to call him junior. Hunting party. Soo-young thought for a while, then shook his head. Not yet. Well, not here yet. I came to take over the task first. Soo-young originally wanted to say that there was no team and he would work alone. But think about it. Or it would be safer to have a small team. That's right, but I still recommend that juniors take on some 3-star missions, which are just right for you freshmen who have just finished the exam. Etc. New students at the warrior level the day after tomorrow. Li Wenwen couldn't help but look at Su Yang with wide eyes. Senior, can you show me the mission? Okay. Li Wenwen looked at Su Yang's actions, took out the elite student card, and opened the mission that only elite students can accept. I feel more certain in my heart. The new student in front of me is the most popular new student today. Su Yang glanced at the information in front of him and then smiled. I'll take this. Well, junior fellow student, is it too difficult for you to accept this task? If you are a new student, I really don't recommend you to accept this task. Li Wenwen looked at this task and couldn't help but feel nervous. 5-star mission. Kill the innate level Thunder Demon Ape. It worked. The reward is 100,000 college points. If you fail, 10,000 college points will also be deducted. If this fails, I can't afford to be hurt. Li Wenwen still does not recommend Su Yang to choose this task. It's okay, I'm not alone. Su Yang was afraid of the front desk and was unwilling to give him the task, so he started to cheat. Well, that's okay. Li Wenwen looked at Su Yang with a decided look. It is obviously impossible to know if it is not given to Su Yang. Because Li Wenwen is not qualified to block the choices of formal students. Especially the elite students. Junior, put your student card on top. Li Wenwen then arranged a series of things for Su Yang. Is it really him? Li Wenwen looked at the information displayed, which was exactly the same as the new elite information she saw today. Su Yang, Junior Su Yang, here it is. Thank you, senior sister. Su Yang thanked him and left here. But next, Su Yang needs to hunt monsters by himself. Not long after Su Yang left, a team also ran over in a hurry. Wenwen, hurry up and give me that 5-star mission. I will definitely kill that guy this time. Seeing the other party's intimate voice, Li Wenwen couldn't help but frown slightly. Senior Yang Yu, you should call me by my full name. Yang Yu couldn't help but laugh when he heard Li Wenwen's disgust. No thought of backing down. Instead, he looked like a deadbeat. Wenwen, you also know that I have thoughts about you. Li Wenwen couldn't help but have a cold face, and had no intention of paying attention to Yang Yu's thoughts. Is there anything else? Just go back if you have nothing to do. There's something wrong, why is it okay? Yang Yu also spoke immediately. After all, it was true that he met Li Wenwen, and it was also true that he came to accept the task. The mission you want has been taken over. Who? When Yang Yu heard this, his expression became condensed. This monster. But he spent a long time planning to kill him himself. Now someone has taken the lead. Then wasn't all the 30,000 college points I lost originally in vain? Sorry, the professional rules, the rules of the hunting hall, cannot reveal any student information. Li Wenwen showed a plain smile. Wenwen, just say it. After you say it, I won't disturb you. Li Wenwen shook her head professionally, without any sign of letting go. Mainly because of the regulations above. Li Wenwen still wanted to stay in the academy. If this is said out loud, Li Wenwen will completely leave the academy, and then she will really be at the mercy of Yang Yu in front of her. Li Wenwen, don't toast and you'll be fined if you don't eat. Yang Yu couldn't help but look gloomy when he saw Li Wenwen's lack of food and salt. What, do you want to do something? Although Li Wenwen looked a little quieter, she also showed a sly smile. Okay, Li Wenwen, I finally understand. If you don't tell me, then I'll ask other people. Yang Yu couldn't help but sneer. Li Wenwen couldn't answer the question. Then the other students in the hall are not very clear about it. Oops, Li Wenwen couldn't help but sigh secretly. None of this has anything to do with her. If Yang Yu had just caused trouble, Li Wenwen could have called the guarding senior outside. Throw Yang Yu out directly. But now, Yang Yu did not choose to cause trouble, but chose to ask other people. This left Li Wenwen helpless. After all, Li Wenwen couldn't stop other students from talking. Yang Yu also asked many students. But what I got was useful news. This person, it's a new student. New student, are you so brave that you dare to take on a 5-star mission? That's an innate warrior level monster. Yang Yu couldn't believe that it was a freshman who accepted it. After all, the freshman is so brave. Do you have cerebral palsy? What did you say? When Yang Yu heard someone scolding him, his face darkened. You say you have cerebral palsy, but you really have cerebral palsy. What, do you want to fight with me? Don't think that just because your brother is here, you start to be arrogant. I heard that there are several school girls who were deceived by you, right? Yang Yu couldn't help but laugh back. Hey, among those school girls, is there someone you are interested in? That's not true, but there is someone who is my brother. Oh, are you planning to stand up for your brother? Li Wenwen saw the group of people trying to fight and couldn't help but immediately stop them. If you want to fight, go out and fight. The senior guard also came over immediately. You are making trouble, do you know the rules? I'm sorry, senior, we're leaving now. Yang Yu glanced at the other party provocatively, and the other party was so angry that he almost started a fight. He just stared at Yang Yu angrily. HMPH, trash. Haha, Yang Jian's family is really unlucky to have a brother like you. I can't help it. Who told me to have such a brother? Seeing Yang Yu like that, the other party couldn't help but laugh ferociously. Since you want to know, let me tell you that the person who stole your mission is a new student named Su Yang. Su Yang. After Yang Yu heard the news, his expression immediately changed. He heard this name from Yang Jian. Then Yang Yu's face turned gloomy. It was also mixed with a touch of jealousy. Su Yang also took the car again and headed towards another forest. Because the distance is still a bit far. A full half hour. Su Yang watched the station arrive at its location and then got off the bus. The forest for freshman assessment. And now this hunting forest. They are two completely different concepts. Su Yang also got off the car and walked there. Looking at the surrounding trees, it was obvious that someone had passed by. I wonder where the innate warrior level Thunder Demon Ape is. The hunting mission only lasts for 1 month. Not completed within a month. Then it will be regarded as a mission failure. So in this month, Su Yang also has enough time to search. Let's look for it slowly. Fortunately, the hunting missions also have some mission hints. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to find a monster in such a large forest. Su Yang also came to the area where the innate warrior monster appeared. I also made some guesses in my mind. It should be around here, right? Su Yang also started to plan to search around this area. Let's see if we can find the Thunder Demon Ape. Su Yang searched for a long time. Likewise, no trace of the Ganglei Demon Ape was found. I can't help but wonder if it was the recipient of the mission who failed last time and the message was wrong. In fact, Su Yang's guess is correct. After all, in Yang Yu's opinion, this innate warrior level Gang Thunder Demonic Ape is his prey. Others want to get the words. It was just a dream. Su Yang is also searching slowly. There seemed to be some fighting sounds, so I couldn't help but walk over looking for the sounds. Su Yang was very fast and came to a hidden place without exposing himself. In Su Yang's eyes, a small team. There were only 4 people in total. 3 men and 1 woman. The girl also had a large bloody gash on her arm. Blood stains were also flowing down his arms. The injury was obviously serious. Beast, one of the men, who was a peak-acquired martial artist, was also extremely anxious. Don't get excited, fight well, and don't mess up your position. You're right, the innate warrior level Violent King Kong is still very difficult to deal with. Roar. Violent King Kong looked at the humans in front of him who were still talking and laughing. The anger in his heart burned again, and he kept beating his chest. Innate warrior level. Su Yang, who was watching from a distance, frowned when he saw this scene. 4 colleges. 3 acquired warrior level 9 stars. A peak acquired warrior level. Facing a 5-star innate warrior level monster, it is still a bit difficult to fight against. In addition, a warrior was injured. Obviously it is even more impossible to compete with the Violent King Kong in front of him. When I think of this, Su Yang couldn't help but wonder whether to help. It's not that Su Yang is a good person. But if you can help, just help. I also want to ask the other party about the innate warrior level monsters nearby. In A. Kill the innate warrior level monsters. You can also get 100 lottery points. This is simply killing 3 birds with 1 stone. But Su Yang has no plans to take action now. Instead, choose to take a look and talk. Wouldn't it be better if one of these 4 people suddenly broke out and could destroy the Violent King Kong? Roar. The Violent King Kong knocked away a warrior with 1 punch. The other two people also took advantage of the situation and took out their weapons and slashed at violent King Kong's skin. Clang. The result is a burst of metal clanging sounds. There was no reaction at all to the violent King Kong. Not even the skin was broken. Su Yang saw that the weapons of these people were of the same level and were not very good. Taken together, these four people are about to be in trouble. Just when Su Yang's idea came to an end, violent King Kong also burst into flames. Roar. The roar filled the entire sky. The violent King Kong raised his hands high and hit the ground hard, causing a wave. Ah! The powerful air wave knocked three people away. It fell heavily to the ground not far away. Phew! The three of them spit out a mouthful of blood, clutched their chests and started to think about retreating. Let's go. The four of them supported each other and planned to leave here. It's just that violent King Kong has no intention of letting these four people go. Roar. 1 inch. As the roar sounded from behind, violent King Kong continued to chase behind the four people. This beast. Stop talking nonsense and leave quickly. The four of them also quickly escaped from this place. Su Yang thought for a while, and then slowly stood up. What? The steps of the four people stopped. Seeing that Su Yang only had the strength of an acquired warrior, he immediately called out. Come on, this is an innate warrior level monster, let's go. It's just that the other party's words have just finished. Su Yang's galloping figure passed by the four of them. What? Seeing Su Yang's terrifying speed and the momentum like water under his feet, shadows of dragons were formed. Perfection level. 5 elements 10,000 transformations hand. One of the four people also noticed the martial arts performed by Su Yang. Are we dreaming? Perfection level Yulongbu, this. Before several people could be shocked, something jaw-dropping happened the next second. Diamond Fist. I saw countless metallic sharp auras emerging from Su Yang's body, and his figure was like a ghost, coming to the front of violent King Kong. Bang! There was a loud noise. Thick smoke and dust were set off. The violent King Kong staggered back. This. Like a madman, Su Yang also used the Shan kick again. Like the power of the earth, he kicked out and hit the violent King Kong's chest. Roar. 1 inch. The violent King Kong roared in pain, feeling the pain coming from his body. Bloodthirsty eyes once again filled the pupils. The nature of the beast completely inspired the violent King Kong's bloodthirsty. It's over, this violent King Kong is going berserk. When I saw this scene, the four of them also had expressions of despair on their faces. He also looked at Su Yang, who was still fighting with regretful eyes. Although Su Yang's perfection level 5 elements won was show, but his strength is that of an acquired warrior. Want to fight against the innate warrior level monster. It is still a violent King Kong with a physical strength similar to that of the Gang Thunder Demon Ape. It's too ugly. When Su Yang heard the roar, he couldn't help but laugh ferociously, and the fist in his hand began to continuously emit metallic aura. Get down! Su Yang yelled and used Vajra Fist again, punching the head of violent Vajra one after another. It also followed the gathering of golden spiritual energy. Behind Su Yang, afterimages also appeared. Can't see clearly what the afterimage looks like. But that ferocious momentum, continuously blessing every blow of Su Yang's fists. Bang! In the end, Su Yang also knocked down the violent King Kong with one punch. Looking at the violent King Kong who fell to the ground, the four of them swallowed their saliva. I feel that Su Yang is a fierce person. Trash, useless at all. Su Yang's words made the four of them blush. Those who didn't know thought it was them. Roar! The violent King Kong lay on the ground and kept wailing, looking at the demon-like human in front of him with bloodthirsty eyes. It is getting closer to it step by step. I couldn't help but feel extremely nervous. There is even a fear of it. Whispering sound. Su Yang looked at the violent King Kong in front of him, and was actually scared, and couldn't help but look at him with mocking eyes. Then he raised his fist high. The perfection level 5 elements 10,000 transformations hand, Vajra Fist, was used again. A force of sharp gold. Erupt leisurely. Roar. Phew. Amid a burst of wailing, a sound sounded like it was breaking through everything. Su Yang also punched through the head of violent King Kong again. Then I explored it for a while. Found the innate warrior level monster crystal core. Gudong. When the other four people watching the show saw this scene, they couldn't help but look extremely reserved. Thank you, Senior. In the world of warriors, those who are masters are teachers. Su Yang is able to defeat the innate warrior level monster with the strength of a future heaven warrior. In their hearts, this person is naturally the old student of some great evildoer. The four of them thanked each other. But the same thing. The four people on the mission also shook their heads helplessly because the mission failed. You're welcome, just call me Junior. Su Yang waved his hand. As for the monster's crystal core, Su Yang did not choose to give it to them. He just asked the four people calmly. This monster should be considered your mission. After all, this thing has no effect on me. Su Yang shook his head. The four of them looked at each other in astonishment, then immediately looked at Su Yang, shaking their heads repeatedly. No, you were responsible for killing this mission. How could we just accept the senior's kindness without our contribution? Su Yang knew that the other party definitely didn't want to embarrass herself. But Su Yang also has something to ask for. Su Yang simply smiled and said, do you think this is okay? The four of them looked at Su Yang suspiciously, wondering what Su Yang was planning. This mission is still yours and has nothing to do with me. Seeing a few people still thinking about what to say, Su Yang also stretched out his hand to stop them. I also have conditions. The four of them couldn't help but be overjoyed upon hearing this. At least, the four people's missions were saved. But when he thought about Su Yang's strength, he actually wanted to ask them for help. That might be a very dangerous thing. That's right, I want to know the traces of the innate warrior level thunder demon ape. Su Yang also saw the embarrassed expressions of the four people, and then stated his conditions. Ganglei demon ape. The four of them couldn't help but think of the more difficult 5-star mission. Hunting the thunder demon ape. Senior, are you going to kill that thunder demon ape? Well, this is my mission. Su Yang didn't deny anything. After all, this was his task. If he didn't complete it, it would be wasted. We don't know the traces of the thunder demon ape either. Not sure, but don't worry, Senior, we have encountered the thunder demon ape before. Real. Su Yang couldn't help but his eyes lit up. If there are traces of the Gang Thunder Demon Ape, that's a good thing. Yes, but the Gang Thunder Demon Ape is in another activity area, and this one is the activity range of a violent King Kong. What? Su Yang's eyes widened, and he also guessed something in his heart. This is obviously the recipient of the previous mission. I don't want the next task recipient to complete the task. Only then did some deceptive orders be issued. Yes, Senior, this is the range of activities of the violent King Kong, and the Thunder Demon Ape is in another place. As the four of them spoke, they also took out a map they drew. Thus handed to Su Yang. We drew this ourselves, Senior, don't be offended. Su Yang took it and looked at it. I found that the drawing was quite good. At least in some places, all monsters of all levels that appeared were drawn. Thank you. I'll give you as many points as you like. No need, Senior, your life-saving grace is nothing. Su Yang couldn't help but smile when he saw that the four of them didn't look like they were planning to collect points. Thank you, I'll leave first. Goodbye, Senior. Su Yang nodded, but couldn't help but stop and look at the four of them. He showed a smile and said to the four of them, but it's better to call me Junior from now on. Goodbye. Under the astonished expressions of the four people, Su Yang also waved goodbye to the four of them. What, Junior, is this a mistake? What are you thinking about? I guess Senior doesn't like high-profile people. Forget it, no matter how old you are, you should still collect the furs of violent King Kong. It's still very valuable. That's right, although the crystal core was given to the Senior, the other things were still left to us by the Senior. The four of them didn't know that Su Yang was just a new student. The next time they met, the four of them felt like they were in a dream. Su Yang also walked through the map towards the activity fee range of the real Thunder Demon Ape. Every monster has its own territory, especially the stronger monsters. An innate warrior level monster. Territory naturally has some scope. It seems like that guy is really cunning. Su Yang understood that the last guy was really him. Thinking of this, Su Yang couldn't help but have a disdainful smile in his eyes. After all, there are still people who actually want to trick their seniors and juniors. But Su Yang doesn't care about this either. In the end, all the blame is on Su Yang. The pace of Su Yang's feet also accelerated a lot. continuously traveling back and forth in the forest. At the same time, in another place, a suspended car sped out and slowly stopped at the outskirts of the forest. A man with a gloomy face walked down. He was also swearing. "You dare to steal things from me, you're going to be impatient, aren't you?" This person is Yang Yu. Yang Yu knew who was coming to snatch his things, and couldn't help but rush over immediately. "I wanted to take the credit from Su Yang when Su Yang killed the monster. Isn't it just that I know Yang Jian? I heard that Yang Jian only met Su Yang once. Not even friends. Based on Yang Jian's character, he probably won't have much to do with that kid." When Yang Yu thought of Yang Jian, a look of ferocity appeared on her face. It seemed as if he had any big hatred against Yang Jian. Then Yang Yu went directly into the forest, looking like he was familiar with the road. He kept rushing towards the activity range of the Ganglei demon ape. Because Su Yang was delayed for a while on the way. As a result, Yang Yu also came here in advance. For Yang Jian, there was more or less jealousy in Yang Yu's heart. In addition, it seems that the relationship between the two is very good. But it's really not that good. After all, Yang Yu and Yang Jian are two people. It's not a real brother relationship, just cousins from aristocratic families. Not to mention that the two of them still have that kind of competitive relationship. Su Yang looked at the map range and nodded with satisfaction after finding a mark. "We should be in the right place." Su Yang also planned to look around again and take a look. In this case, you might be able to encounter the Thunder Demon Ape in advance. Then Su Yang began to search slowly. There is still enough time. Su Yang simply began to search for cave locations one after another. See if the Thunder Demon Ape is there. Roar! Just when Su Yang planned to go to the next cave. On the mountain peak not far away, there were bursts of roars. Su Yang heard this voice very familiar, a bit like déjà vu. The cry of the Thunder Demon Ape. Su Yang couldn't help but his face darkened, and he immediately used Dragon Step to rush to the place where there was movement ahead. After all, this is Su Yang's own hunting mission. Oh shit! At this time in a battle venue, the surrounding trees were completely destroyed, and one person and one demonic ape were facing each other. Yang Yu cursed secretly, sighing that the strength of the Thunder Demon Ape in front of him has improved a step further. I cursed endlessly in my heart. HMPH, as long as I kill you. Yang Yu's eyes couldn't help but become extremely greedy and looked behind the Ganglei Demon Ape. It's just that the Ganglei Demon Ape directly blocked Yang Yu's gaze. Roar! The Ganglei Demon Ape also roared angrily, and the aura in his body continued to rise, as if he was about to go berserk. Someone is coming. Is it that boy? Yang Yu thought of Su Yang's strength, and also heard about Su Yang's strength and record. I heard that he can fight on par with innate warrior-level monsters. If you say so. A strange smile appeared at the corner of Yang Yu's mouth. Don't blame me. If you want to blame me, just blame you for being stupid. Finished. Yang Yu's figure also quickly fled in another direction. I found a place to hide anywhere. As for the Ganglei Demon Ape, he also wanted to chase him out. But he stopped in the next second. He looked at the cave behind him reluctantly. Then he walked towards the cave again. He looked warily towards the outside of the cave, like a protector guarding a treasure. As for Yang Yu seeing this scene, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise. What I am even more sure of is that there is definitely a treasure inside. Beast, when you fight with that kid, I'll be a fisherman again. Yang Yu couldn't help but fantasize about the scene where he obtained the treasure. My heart was even more excited. On the way Su Yang arrived, he found that the sound of fighting had also disappeared. I couldn't help but feel extremely anxious, and my steps accelerated a lot. Once the task fails, then the college points will also be deducted. This price, it's a bit hard for Su Yang to accept. I only saw a figure constantly shuttling through the forest, rushing towards the direction of the Thunder Demon Ape. Su Yang looked around and found that the fighting around him was still fierce. It should be the battle venue with the Ganglei Demon Ape. Look around. Discover the damaged areas around you, especially the recently damaged trees. It was obvious that he had only fought against the Ganglei Demon Ape for a short time, and had not even benefited from it. Roar! The Ganglei Demon Ape roared angrily when he saw another human coming here. Bang! Leap! Jumping 10 meters in front of Su Yang, a burst of dust suddenly appeared on the ground. Su Yang also waved his hand and kept patting the dust around him. Roar! The gang thunder demon ape grew its mouth, roared angrily, and kept waving its arms and beating its chest. There were bursts of thunder. Whispering sound. When Su Yang looked at this scene, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but raise. A monster who exercises his body. Su Yang needs this stuff right now. However, Su Yang couldn't help but look around, and was not in a hurry to fight the thunder demon ape. Snort. After snorting softly, he shook his neck. Clench your fists. He put on a fighting stance. Come. Roar. After the gangly demon ape saw Su Yang's actions, his anger was reignited. Crack of thunder. It was constantly shrouded in the skin and hair of the gang thunder demon ape. When I saw this scene, Su Yang's pupils shrank and she couldn't help but be surprised. This is the peak innate warrior level monster. Seeing that terrifying aura, Su Yang no longer dared to be careless. Especially in the opponent's body, Su Yang also felt aura that had a bit of thunder and lightning properties. Even around the gang thunder demon ape, thunder abilities that only martial arts foundation building monsters can display have been formed. What the hell? Su Yang completely felt that he was a loser in the previous mission. It's really just a lie. Think of this. Su Yang should not be aware of the battle just now. He might be the loser of the previous mission. Roar. While Su Yang was guessing and thinking, the thunder demon ape roared angrily and raised the thunder energy wrapped in both fists. He punched Su Yang. Not good. When Su Yang saw this, he just wanted to avoid the attack of the thunder demon ape. But the next second, bang, a figure was like a broken kite, hitting the trees behind it. The trees also clicked and completely disconnected. Su Yang stood up a little embarrassed at this moment and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. It's pretty strong. Su Yang also stared at the thunder demon ape with serious eyes. The breath all over the body is still erupting. However, without Su Yang's knowledge, the thunder god's bodybuilding method was accidentally activated. Come again. Su Yang shouted loudly, and even raised his fist to use the Vajra fist of 5 elements 10,000 transformations. Roar. The gangly demon ape looked at Su Yang, a little acquired warrior level human who was still thinking about counterattack. Then huge fists hit Su Yang one after another. The two fists collided one after another. Yang Yu, who was watching the show on the sidelines, was also extremely frightened when he saw this scene. What a scary boy. If he grows up for a while, will Yang Jian be compared to him? But then I thought of something. HMPH, no matter how strong you are, aren't all of this just for me to make my wedding dress? Ha ha ha. Although Yang Yu lamented that Su Yang was very powerful, he even takes a path of physical training that ordinary people dare not take. The body is also quite strong. With the peak innate warrior level, the thunder demon ape is still focused on defense, and its strength is comparable. He is obviously also a genius madman. In that case, it's up to you to fight. Yang Yu naturally had no need to help, and just watched the scene indifferently. Instead, he looked like he was watching a good show. Originally, Yang Yu was not familiar with Su Yang. There is no such thing as help. In addition, hunting down the innate warrior level thunder demon ape was Yang Yu's bag. Now it has been robbed by Su Yang. He must be holding a grudge. At this moment, Yang Yu's heart naturally hoped that Su Yang could die in the hands of the gangly demon ape. In this way, Yang Yu will completely become a fisherman. Then you will know what the thunder demon ape is guarding. Roar. The thunder demon ape roared again, and the lightning aura throughout his body continued to surge. He punched Su Yang again. Diamond fist. Su Yang was not to be outdone, and blasted out the perfection level Vajra fist. The majestic power of sharp gold is mixed with the aura that breaks everything. The two destructive forces collided with each other. Ah! Su Yang couldn't help but cry out in pain, and kept retreating. There were also crackling sounds of thunder and lightning on his body. Su Yang suddenly felt paralyzed all over, as if he couldn't move. Roar. After seeing Su Yang's actions, the gangly demon ape slapped its chest in excitement and roared. Hateful. Su Yang also gritted his teeth, thinking about whether to evacuate first. After all, the information was wrong. And there seems to be another fisherman around, maybe there are more fishermen. When Su Yang first thought about this plan, he couldn't help but be surprised. When did you activate the Thunder God's bodybuilding method? Su Yang didn't know when he activated the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. Just when fighting. Thinking that I couldn't hide myself, I simply activated everything. This is. Su Yang also noticed something and couldn't help being surprised. His eyes couldn't help but look excited, looking in the direction of the Thunder Demon Ape. Could it be that the gang Thunder Demon Ape? Su Yang just made a guess, but it still needs to be verified. But Su Yang also has a high probability that it is definitely the same thing. The gang Thunder Demon Ape in front of me. It is of great help to the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. Lol. Su Yang's original solemn expression instantly became extremely excited. Yang Yu, who was paying attention to Su Yang, had a weird look on his face when he saw this scene. Could it be that this kid is really crazy? I heard Su Yang shout loudly, ha ha ha. Come again. Su Yang also knows how to improve the Thunder God's physical training method. He simply began to think about how to drain this Thunder Demon Ape dry. Roar. The Ganglei Demon Ape looked at Su Yang's excited eyes, and his back instantly felt cold, and he roared angrily. The thunderous aura throughout his body surged again. So good. Su Yang's eyes became even more excited when he saw the appearance of the Ganglei Demon Ape. Quick. More. Roar. The Thunder Demon Ape raised his fist that smelled of thunder and struck directly at Su Yang's face and face. You don't slap someone in the face, don't you know? Su Yang also immediately jumped up and directly used his body to resist the fist of the Thunder Demon Ape. Bang! Su Yang was also blown away again. The Ganglei Demon Ape was a little dumbfounded. Yang Yu, who was also watching the show, was also dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, Su Yang no longer fought back, but directly faced the Thunder Demon Ape to attack him. Ha 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 ha. Su Yang looked very embarrassed at the moment, and all his clothes were in tatters. At the same time, traces of blood spilled from the corners of his mouth. But Su Yang always had a smile on his lips. Okay, great. Su Yang finally knew how to improve his Thunder God training method. It's just that Su Yang's whole body is a little sore now. After all, it was a solid punch. Although Su Yang's whole body is very strong, he can't hold on for long even if he keeps getting beaten. But Su Yang finally caught a monster that could improve the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. Naturally, he won't let it go so easily. Roar. When the Ganglei Demon Ape heard Su Yang's laughter, the anger in his heart was even more ignited. The crackle of thunder sounded again. The fist with lightning aura struck again. Bang! Su Yang was hit hard on the ground again. The Ganglei Demon Ape obviously became excited when he saw Su Yang lying on the ground unable to get up. The annoying human in front of me was finally dead. Ha ha ha. Just the next second, that annoying laughter sounded again. The Ganglei Demon Ape looked again and saw that the human being who was originally lying on the ground and unable to get up actually got up again. Roar. When the Gang Thunder Demon Ape saw Su Yang, this time it was not a fist, but two fists, and countless thunder and lightning auras emerged directly. When Yang Yu on the side saw this scene, his expression suddenly changed. Really a complete lunatic. Seeing Su Yang's non-retaliation, Yang Yu also understood Su Yang's plan. Just use the Ganglei Demon Ape in front of you. Beat the body continuously. Then improve your physical strength to increase your physique. Improve your own physical training method. Crazy, crazy. Yang Yu now understood something completely. That is the warrior who wants to keep practicing and improving his body. What a crazy person. Totally crazy. Yang Yu always felt that he had to leave first. Obviously Yang Yu has also become a lot more timid. It's not just Su Yang's lunatic attitude. Yang Yu thought it was just a trick, and he didn't mean to kill anyone. Of course, if Su Yang died in the hands of the Ganglei Demon Ape, it would have nothing to do with Yang Yu. But if Su Yang wants to escape, obviously Su Yang will also hold a grudge against Yang Yu. If this deceives Su Yang, then Su Yang will hold a grudge against him in the future. Thought of this, Yang Yu became even more confused. But, I thought of the treasures in the cave behind the Ganglei Demon Ape. Yang Yu's greed defeated everything again. No, this thing is quite precious and cannot be given to others. Then Yang Yu also looked at Su Yang with vigilant eyes, and he was fighting with the Thunder Demon Ape. Ha ha ha. Su Yang also burst out laughing. His eyes became extremely excited. Hurry up, hurry up. Su Yang also noticed that the Thunder Demon Ape's thunder and lightning aura seemed to be a bit lacking. I was a little disappointed for a moment. No way, are you starting to be a monster? You won't be able to do it in less than 3 minutes, right? Su Yang's sarcastic words seemed to stimulate the Gang Thunder Demon Ape, and instantly caused the Gang Thunder Demon Ape's aura to surge again. Countless lightning auras gathered throughout the body again. Roar! A punch with a destructive thunder and lightning aura seemed to blow Su Yang away. Ha ha ha! Well done, well done. Although Su Yang was extremely excited, he was still very cautious every time he received the fist of the Ganglei Demon Ape. Because after all, it is a monster body that transcends a great realm. Careless. It seems really troublesome. Bang! Su Yang was blown away again, and Su Yang also stretched out his hands to resist. Offset most of the impact. But the same thing. He was also constantly absorbing the violent thunder and lightning energy, which was constantly impacting Su Yang's whole body. It was sore and had a refreshing feeling. Su Yang now wanted to fight again with the Thunder Demon Ape in front of him. But Su Yang discovered the clues. That was the skin all over the body of the Gang Thunder Demon Ape in front of him, and even his breath became a little sluggish. Su Yang felt sour and refreshed as never before. In that case, let you go first. Su Yang thought about taking a rest first. After all, Su Yang also planned to practice the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. Leaving the range of the Ganglei Demon Ape. After seeing Su Yang leave, the Ganglei Demon Ape became extremely weak. Walking towards his cave residence. However, Su Yang was not in a hurry to practice, but looked around cautiously. Su Yang is waiting. Seeing the other party's delay in coming out, he couldn't help but laugh ferociously in his heart. I said, you've been watching the show for so long, why don't you come out? When Yang Yu heard this, he couldn't help being shocked. Also known to be discovered by Su Yang. Simply show your cards and stop pretending. Ba bang bang. Yang Yu kept clapping and walked out from behind Su Yang. It's great that you were able to find me. Su Yang also only looked like a 7-star innate warrior level after meeting Yang Yu. Senior, you've been watching the show for so long. Do you have any ideas if you don't want to leave? Su Yang looked at Yang Yu with a half smile. What can I say? I'm worried about my junior. If a junior makes a mistake, the academy will definitely lose a genius, right? Yang Yu ignored Su Yang's half-smiling words, but looked at the direction in which the Thunder Demon Ape left, and spoke calmly. Junior, how about we get rid of this beast together? Su Yang shook his head when he heard this. Not very good. Oh, are you planning to kill this Thunder Demon Ape yourself? When Yang Yu heard this, his eyes froze. I was very unhappy with Su Yang's disobedient appearance. Su Yang couldn't help but laugh when she saw Yang Yu's flash of anger. If you plan to be a fisherman, I advise you to give up. Then, what do I have to do? But in the next second, Su Yang's figure took the lead. Clang! The two long swords collided with each other. Yang Yu was obviously shocked by the kendo aura bursting out from both of them. Junior is so well hidden. When Yang Yu originally wanted to take the lead in attacking, he drew his sword and wanted to teach Su Yang a lesson. Can bear fruit. Su Yang also directly took out a long sword and resisted Yang Yu's attack. Yang Yu originally followed the path of swordsmanship. For things like sword moves and swordsmanship, Yang Yu is also very familiar with it, and Su Yang has never exposed his swordsmanship talent. It's always been physical. There are also the martial arts skills of 5 elements and 10,000 transformations. It's good now. Yang Yu felt Su Yang's terrifying sword moves, and it was obvious that he had surpassed him. But he definitely did not surpass Yang Jian. Hateful. When I think of Su Yang's hidden appearance. So physically strong. Sword moves are also so powerful. Later, Yang Yu did not believe in evil and believed that Su Yang's sword skills would definitely not be stronger than his physical strength. Cut. HMPH. Kill. Su Yang saw that the other party was not going to let him go, so he did not choose to show mercy. Clang. Clang. The sky was filled with extremely strong sword light and the sound of weapons clashing. The two fight each other. Yang Yu was also shocked. So physically strong. Moreover, his swordsmanship talent is actually as good as his own. Monster. Genius. Evildoer. The originally weak flame of jealousy in Yang Yu's heart was ignited again. It's all you geniuses, it's all you geniuses. It's all you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have such a difficult life. Su Yang saw Yang Yu's move. Crazy, I secretly guessed in my mind. But Su Yang had no intention of killing Yang Yu. Su Yang is quite sensitive to the perception of murderous intent. Once someone reveals his murderous intention, then Su Yang will never show mercy. Looking at Yang Yu's jealous words, I couldn't help but feel that Yang Yu was still a little too young. Die to me, you guys, you all deserve to die. You all deserve to die. It's all you who caused the harm. Why are you superior to others because of your high talents? Why am I not qualified to compete for the position of the head of the family, just because I am a junior swordsman? Yang Yu's eyes were filled with a bloodthirsty look. It was as if he had fallen into some kind of bad memory. It was as if he had seen a terrifying figure, suppressing Yang Yu and unable to breathe. Su Yang looked at the other party, obviously falling into a state of obsession. Is this going to be a demon? When Su Yang saw Yang Yu's strange behavior, he immediately thought of a word. Possessed. Yang Yu in front of me. There are possessed demons that can only be born by building a foundation in martial arts. Martial arts foundation building is a very serious matter. Once possessed, then become a complete madman. This is why many warriors have been stuck at the peak of innate warrior strength. Martial arts foundation building has never been successful. I really can't bear the blow. Su Yang didn't know what the other party had experienced, but Su Yang also had experience in elementary kendo. Clang! Su Yang once again forced Yang Yu back with one sword strike. You've gone crazy. Crazy. I'm not crazy. Yang Yu felt extremely awake at this moment, so awake that he couldn't be more awake. HMPH, you probably hid your swordsmanship talent just because you wanted to be a blockbuster. Boy, your wishful thinking was wrong. Yang Yu's eyes had changed a long time ago, as if he had fallen into madness and became extremely bloodthirsty. You want to kill me? Su Yang also felt a little bit of murderous intent. It just emerged from Yang Yu's body. If it is a monster, murderous intent will emerge from it. Su Yang didn't care about the monster's killing intent. After all, the monster must die. But when the human in front of him showed murderous intent, Su Yang had to pay attention. Kill you. Yes, I will kill you to prove that I am better and stronger than geniuses like you. Su Yang shook his head in disappointment. The long sword in his hand turned again. He made a fighting stance. In that case, don't blame me. Su Yang knew that killing students in the college was prohibited. But just in case, Su Yang still turned on video recording in advance. After all, if the college pursues this matter in the future, Su Yang will have something to say. Blizzard Shadow Sword. Seeking death. Slash with the flaming sword. Seeing Su Yang's move, Yang Yu raised his hand and slashed at Su Yang with his sword. The rich aura of flames, mixed with some flashes of sword light, slashed in front of Su Yang. And Su Yang also used sword moves. As countless gusts of wind appeared behind Su Yang, it was like countless shadows passing by. Clang! Two sword moves flashed out directly, colliding with each other. Phew! Although Yang Yu has innate warrior level strength, he is still a human being. Even the physical training method didn't look like much practice. PFF'd. Yang Yu spat out a mouthful of blood. He stretched out his hand and pointed at Su Yang reluctantly. You actually know the perfection level storm sword. Su Yang looked at Yang Yu flatly and said, I never said that my sword moves are not perfect. Then Su Yang also looked at a group of flaming sword marks appearing on his chest. You're not bad, at least you can bring me a little bit of harm. If it weren't for Su Yang's physical strength being too strong, he really wanted to be broken open by Yang Yu in front of him. Innate warrior level, still very powerful. Su Yang sighed. But after all, Yang Yu's strength was still a little too low. If it were Yang Jian, Su Yang still feels a little troublesome, and even fighting Yang Jian will hurt him. Next words. Su Yang couldn't help but feel shocked when she saw Yang Yu still breathing. Killed. Su Yang directly pierced Yang Yu's chest with his sword. Then send the video directly to Lu Qingyu. After all, Su Yang was just acting in self-defense. It's just that Su Yang waited for a long time and never heard Lu Qingyu respond to him. That's weird. Could it be that senior sister is busy? Su Yang no longer cares about anything else. After all, for Su Yang now, the most important thing is to improve the Thunder God's bodybuilding method. In a quiet and comfortable room. A woman wearing clean and neat pajamas, revealing some of her tender skin. Apparently freshly washed. Who sent me a message? Lu Qingyu yawned, and then found that a message seemed to be sent on her phone. Found it to be a video. Lu Qingyu thought it was that boy playing a prank on her. Take a look at the person's information. Why did this kid send me those short videos? However, Lu Qingyu also blushed and quietly opened it to take a look. But the next second, I saw the video content. Stand up instantly. Is this possessed? The warrior is possessed by a demon. This is a serious matter. Once it is not done well, this warrior is completely useless. Unless it costs a huge price, it can only be awakened by using some special potions. But then, it also takes a huge cost to barely restore the warrior's fighting spirit. In general, warriors are basically not possessed by demons. There is only one way to become possessed. That will only appear when the martial arts foundation is established. But there is another way. That is because jealousy arises in the heart and cannot bear the blow. But in this case, the warrior's strength is improving and he is constantly changing his mentality. Unless there was some kind of blow. This triggered the jealousy that he had hidden for a long time. Yeah, pretty good sword moves. Yeah, they are actually two boys with great talent in swordsmanship. Lu Qingyu didn't notice Su Yang's face, but saw that both of them were very good with swordsmanship, and they obviously also had talents in swordsmanship. It's just a difference in strength. Not bad, pretty good. But the more Lu Qingyu looked at it, the more she felt something was wrong, as if she had the illusion that she had forgotten something. After seeing the last sword pierce another innate warrior-level warrior, Lu Qingyu also fell silent. If so, is it to blame? Lu Qingyu also knew that the other person in the video was just acting in self-defense. But, Lu Qingyu also understood that the academy had lost an innate warrior-level student. Hey, it turns out to be Su Yang. Lu Qingyu finally saw the face of another person in the video. I couldn't help but be surprised. But he immediately exclaimed. Su Yang, holy crap, how much is this kid hiding? Only then did Lu Qingyu think of something. Because it was a video message sent by Su Yang, and Lu Qingyu also discovered two boys with kendo talents in the video. Although one is at the innate warrior level, another one, Lu Qingyu, was also considered to be at the innate warrior level. Su Yang's face appeared at the end. Only then did Lu Qingyu exclaim again. The appearance of Su Yang. It was beyond Lu Qingyu's imagination. She originally thought that having a lightning talent would be too outstanding. The results of it. Who would have thought that there was a talent for swordsmanship? You brat, how many talents have you hidden? Lu Qingyu felt more and more that Su Yang's strength was too terrifying. Thunder talent. There is also the talent of the 5 elements. And talent for swordsmanship. He is even a madman who practices physical training. You brat, there are so many talents. It depends on which one you choose when building your martial arts foundation. Lu Qingyu also wanted to see Su Yang's future plans with a malicious look. But with Su Yang's current strength, if you want to build a foundation in martial arts in the future, it will probably be very difficult. Mainly one thing, what Su Yang cultivates is a bit too complicated. The road to simplicity, make the complex simple. Although after studying too much, he also increased his own strength and surpassed many people. But blindly learn too many complicated things. Then it will also bring unlimited burdens to oneself. Once it is not under control. The path of martial arts. It completely collapsed and was destroyed. I hope this kid understands the difficulty of the martial arts road by then, and doesn't go crazy and practice so much. Su Yang's path. Lu Qingyu made a helpless choice. Because all this is Su Yang's own choice, other warriors cannot give Su Yang any help at all. After all, martial arts foundation building. No one can help anyone. Everyone's path is their own choice. Wrong. That's just wrong. If you want to regret it, you can only start over and practice again. It's just the kind of superior treatment for geniuses, and the kind of admiration from countless warriors. Once you hit the bottom again, many people find it difficult to reforge the path to supreme martial arts. But it's not impossible, it's just that there are so few. I hope Su Yang will make a good decision in the future. Then Lu Qingyu began to look at the dead Yang Yu. Lu Qingyu looked a little familiar, but wasn't sure, so she took another look. The Academy's internal personnel matching system has been opened. Scanned Yang Yu's information. Less than 3 minutes to go. A series of information from Yang Yu appeared in front of Lu Qingyu. Is it called Yang Yu? Lu Qingyu looked at Yang Yu's record, and then opened Su Yang's record. Found a common ground. That is, they are all hunting innate warrior level thunder demon apes. It's just that Yang Yu failed. It's strange. Yang Yu's strength should be able to defeat the Ganglei demon ape. How come he failed 3 times? Lu Qingyu was really at a loss. But Yang Yu actually attacked the students in the college for his own benefit. This has touched upon the rules within the entire academy. Snort. When she thought of this, Lu Qingyu couldn't help but snorted. Let's also see who Yang Yu is. Then I looked through Yang Yu's network. Lu Qingyu's expression changed slightly after seeing Yang Yu's network. It's actually him. Is there something good to watch now? It seems that Su Yang is really in a bit of trouble. Lu Qingyu couldn't help but smile jokingly. It was as if he was watching a good show. You brat, you really know how to cause trouble, but you still need to take care of everything yourself. Su Yang is still on the way to hunt. As for who Yang Yu is, Su Yang is too lazy to manage the other party, and he will die if he dies. Anyway, Su Yang was just defending himself. Even if Su Yang gets a grudge, it won't be a big deal. After all, in the academy, no one from a family of warriors dares to come to the academy to kill Su Yang. Nor dare to challenge higher authority. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.